How we do it for fun, my friend.
He went on a Mexican game show.
The fucking dream team.
And hey guys, welcome to the SNP Podcast, and we have Combat Libre, where we'll be talking about UFC 239, one FC, Bare Knuckle FC, and then also UFC 240. And David.
What up?
And then we got Jose.
Whoa.
And we brought on a guest. We have Ivan. What's up, Ivan?
What's going on, guys?
Give a little fun fact about yourself to everybody.
He likes to wear pink underwear.
Okay, there we go. Stole what I was going to say. Thanks for revealing it to everybody.
He just keeps on saying things.
You stole his thunder.
Yeah, you did, but whatever.
Be more open.
I'm here to talk about the fights anyway. So.
Okay. All right, Jose, start us off. What are we
So
talking
first
about?
of all, we're going to be talking about UFC 239. I mean, this is one of the biggest cards of the year. I've been pretty stoked about this fight fight card for a long time. And even through taking, I feel like Junior Dos Santos versus Ngannou, which was supposed to be on this card as well, they had to move it to last weekend. But even with that one getting taken out, I think the main card is stacked. Like, people are stoked. There's a lot of drama on it. I think John Jones is going to be his second or third fight this year?
At least third.
Third, yeah. The guy's fixing to fight 4 times this year.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty stoked to see that. As of right now, I think everyone's on their track to make weight and be on the card, so there's nobody injured or out right now. So that's really exciting. But let's talk a little bit about the preliminary card. How do you guys feel about some of that?
Oh, yeah, that's right. You got freaking Claudia Gadelha. She's going to be fighting Randa Marcos. That's a good fight, man, especially for strawweights. Like, that's going to be probably a war. Randa Marcos is like, I remember her in the Ultimate Fighter show. She was like...
She goes into kill, right?
Yeah.
She does have a lot of losses, too.
Yeah, but I mean, every single one is a war. It's not like she just gets like knocked the fuck out or anything like that. Like, she comes in for it.
Yeah, now that there's a new strawweight champion, there's going to be new contenders. So whoever gets a win here is going to probably be fighting on the main card. Maybe, they'll need one more fight. And they could, with the women's fights, they give them title shots a little bit quicker. And now that there's a new champ, they want new women on there. So that's going to be
or I don't know if we want to do breaking news right now, but yeah, they set up Joanna Jędrzejczyk. She's going to be fighting who was it? Who did they say? Karate Hottie.
Yeah, Michelle Watterson.
Really?
Yeah, I saw that.
They just added that like not too long ago.
Yeah, it's
wow,
gonna be
that's cool. Yeah, I think I did hear that. Yeah, that's cool.
So,
but
I'm excited for that. I think Watterson's. Her last 2 fights, like, everyone just counted her out, like, every single time. They were like, she's gonna get knocked. And also another thing to bring up that I think is like ridiculous is that you're seeing a lot more like finishes in the women's divisions now than you just did in the beginning. In the beginning, it was like everyone was too cautious. I don't know what was going on. Like, there wasn't anyone going out there to rip a head off or anything. They were just like really respecting each other's power. But now it's like you'll see people go in on each other.
We've come a long way from like the Ronda Rousey days. Everybody's like so developed and like well-rounded in every single aspect.
14-second arm bars.
Yeah, there's a lot more things to go on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Shevchenko with that crazy knockout. Dude. I mean, that's like knockout of the year, maybe, guy or girl. So
holy shit.
Okay, and then who else we have? Melendez.
Chito Vera, man. Dude, this one, he was going to fight Sugar Sean O'Malley on this one, but then Sugar Sean tested positive for
I'm so pissed.
Wait, he tested positive again?
No, it's sort of the same John Jones situation, except he's not as famous, but it's sort of the situation where supposedly that same residue or it pulses or something, so it may show up in the future. And he did say that a few months ago, like, hey, this may show up in the future. With John Jones, they were able to move the fight card from, I think, California to Las Vegas, from Las Vegas to California. But with Sean O'Malley, he's just a guy fighting. He's not the main guy, so it just kind of sucks for him. Yeah. It's an unfortunate situation. I don't think he's taking steroids.
It was really careless though, because even Chito was like saying, or Marlon Vera, he was like, dude, like anytime that I take anything, I call the guy from USADA and I'm like, hey, check this. Is this cleared?
Or maybe he is. I mean,
I think he just got careless.
Yeah, he's just a young dude.
Yeah,
He probably got careless.
Yeah. So that would have been an awesome fight. But regardless, I didn't even know Marlon Vera is actually training with Eddie Bravo in 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Check it out. It's what is it? Anatomy of a Fighter. They did like a piece on him.
Oh, okay.
Damn.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, I remember him from like the freaking Latin America show. So I was like, damn, he's come a long way. I forgot about him until I saw him.
Eddie Bravo
exciting.
like is trading some killers because his relationship with Tony Ferguson is so insane.
Yeah. Well, Tony Ferguson is insane.
Yeah.
Clinically.
That's his like best pupil.
How
you know.
dare you, dude?
He is. That's a compliment. That's just a fact,
I thought you were
actually.
talking about his craziness.
He's insane. Did you hear what? Yeah, they're like talking about him, and it's like, dude, that guy's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the craziest thing is when I showed my girlfriend that she was like, in order to train your leg to be like steel, you have to kick steel, and then he just starts kicking a metal pole like crook-ching.
Oh, yeah.
crook-ching,
You really did that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Dude,
fuck.
it's
Jesus
And
Christ.
then you just stare at him, and then he stares at you, and then you're just like, that's the face of a cold-blooded killer. Like that guy will murder you.
You know who Tony Ferguson reminds me of? Sin City. Remember that one guy who's like just getting like that whole fucking movie?
you
He was
could
just
beat
getting
up?
slapped, and then they finally like get him to the electric chair, and then like he survives it the first time. He's like, "Come on, you pansy, do it again." The best you got.
It's
Yeah,
like bleeding.
that's like how he is.
Yeah.
Jesus
He's
Christ.
just like a fucking savage.
Damn. And then moving on to Gilbert. Gilbert's fight. I don't know who's actually fighting, but I am excited to see him. 22 fucking wins, right?
Yeah.
And actually, one of my favorite fights of all time, Gilbert Melendez fought Diego Sanchez.
That
and
was
I thought
crazy.
It was crazy. But he got popped for steroids, and he still hangs out with the same crew because he hangs out with Nate Diaz and he hangs out with like everyone there. But he
Yeah.
fucking
One of their fallen boys.
Everyone's
I
on
mean,
steroids.
Yeah. I was a huge fan, and I'm still a huge fan of him, but he is a former champion. The other guy is 14-1. I don't know that much about him, to be honest, but I would have to pick if I'm, predicting Gilbert Melendez just based on his experience. But when a guy's been out that long and then he's fighting in the UFC again, you kind of don't know if they're going
And
to
then who
look
knows?
how like.
Oh, sorry. Like also because he was he had like all those TV deals, wasn't he? Like on TV doing like the breakdowns and whatnot.
Yeah.
So who knows if he actually used that time to train or what's going on? with
And
that.
even if he's as good as he used to, everything evolves so much that a guy who is no longer at that, the least skilled guy is still already a lot more skilled than they were 5 years ago when he stopped competing. So
dude. Imagine how where we're gonna be like in 10 years. How many more Israel Adesanyas and
super
like
athlete.
I know
Yeah.
they're all going to be black. All the UFC.
It's gonna be like the NBA.
It's going to happen.
It's gonna be like the NBA. They're like, they call more fouls on black people, and it's like that's because they're like 3/4 of the league.
That's going to be the UFC. It's going to be
Joel Romero's and
Yeah.
I love you.
Brazilians and Russians or something.
Well, dude, I mean, just to break the subject on this, the same sense, I always feel like one of the things that I find is super interesting is that my favorite fighters were the guys that were essentially just like bar hopping dudes. Like Chuck Liddell traditionally fought and trained, but before him, my favorite fighter was Tank Abbott. And Tank Abbott used to literally say like, "How do you train for this fight?" And then he's like this, and then he would just pretend to open a beer and be like.
That's awesome.
And he would just be like, I just think about it while I drink. And
Michael
I'm
Bisping, another one of those.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you listen to his podcast or anything.
love it.
Even before he became champion, everything, he was always drinking. His press conference with George St. Pierre, he came in like drunk.
Are you
I know.
intoxicated?
So you got that funny line.
Yeah.
That was.
I mean, he drank some gold out of that press conference. I feel like that's where people make their names now. It's super weird because now they're interviewing everyone. So they grab really young fighters and they'll just say some crazy shit. And they'll be like, dude, what the fuck? And it's like, can someone protect these guys from themselves? They're saying like horrible shit. But it's like, that's the talking thing now. Everyone gets interviewed. I mean,
And Chael Sonnen was the one that brought it all in too.
yeah.
It was
that's
like
true. He
Chael
was the
Sonnen
original
that's-
badass for that. Yeah.
And then fucking Connor like actually performed on it. Like he said shit, but guess what? I back it up. So start that whole era.
Oh, Jesus. So moving on to the main card.
Okay.
Moving on to the main
Let's start at the
card.
bottom here.
Dude.
Oh, they still have it on there, but
It says canceled.
yeah, but it says cancel.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
Francis Ngannou.
I like how they put it cancel.
Yeah.
I mean,
Why not just remove it? Like,
Yeah.
what is it?
Wait, which one got canceled?
the Francis Ngannou versus
Oh,
Junior
right there.
Santos.
It
That was
happened
that was supposed to go right below the Jorge Masvidal versus Ben Askren fight.
This fight card was better, a
With-
few months
with-
ago, but
And the addition of Shane O'Malley to the
know.
undercard, that was going to be dope.
Yeah.
Because if not, you would have had that fight instead of Diego Sanchez versus Michael Chiesa. But how do you guys feel about that fight?
that's a good fight.
I think it is.
So I mean, first of all, I love that Diego Sanchez is still fighting because that's one of the few guys that I can think 10 years ago I saw him fighting, headlining, having crazy badass fights, and he's still fighting the best guys. That's bad. He's the first guy that won the Ultimate Fighter. Before Forrest Griffin, even because he fought before him. So he's the real Ultimate Fighter winner. Michael Chiesa, though, I think moving up in weight class, I think he's fighting better. His fight against Carlos Condit, even though Condit's been on kind of a skid, and I'm a huge fan of him, but I do really like him too. But Michael Chiesa looked like he turned up a different switch, a different level. He almost submitted him in the first round, and then he almost got submitted, I think.
And he's in a new weight class.
Yeah,
right? So
Diego's coming off. He's what?
He's not cutting as much weight because he went up in weight, right?
Yeah, that's helping his game out a lot. And Diego's coming off the win over who's that younger guy?
Oh, fucking
Mickey Gall.
Mickey Gall. But Mickey Gall was like dying.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much we can take out of that.
They said that he was about to go into organ failure.
He was having organ failure
yeah.
and shit.
He was just cut so much weight that his liver and his
what do you think about
stuff were giving up? Could you imagine cutting
Jesus
that?
Christ.
That's how much
going on total system failure.
But that proves that people shouldn't be dropping 20 pounds to go fight someone because then you gain about 10 to 15 of those pounds in water weight the same day back. I always thought that it'd be super cool if you weighed them right before they went into the ring. Because I think it would just, not because it would bring up anything else. I'm not saying that they should do it to soothe people, but it's kind of interesting to see
Gives
how
you
much
perspective.
Yeah. How much, you say you weighed 240 or 145, man. Well, when you came into the ring, you actually weighed like 160.
That's why I like what ONE FC is doing so much because they're actually testing them, they're weighing them, and then they're taking
hydration tests,
hydration levels and stuff.
Man, you guys,
what do you think about Diego Sanchez leaving fucking the camp? And he was just defending it. He was going off on Cowboy because he was like, "Oh, fuck you, I'm gonna fight you."
So he left. Greg
talking
Jackson?
about my family, and then he fucking left him a fight later.
Was it dramatic?
He said he wasn't getting
no love.
They weren't showing him the love. That's what he said.
That's what Donald was saying.
Yeah.
I think they just have so many. The thing that they keep on saying about that camp is that there's so many people going to it that they're not managing. Because right now at Greg Jackson's, they say they have 80 fighters there at any given point. So it's if you have just the two main guys, right, going at it, there, and there's 3 or 4 head coaches there.
Thanks, buddy.
Maybe 10 fighters at max you're going to pay attention to. The other 40 are going to fall below the. They're just
they're just picking their, but you know what? We're gonna pick the good guys and the new blood.
And then, and another thing that I think is super crazy too is that all the young guys, they're coming in there to prove themselves. So Diego Sanchez shouldn't be sparring at 100% with a 21-year-old that wants to rip his head off. You know what I mean? That's just bad for his career at this point.
Maybe he doesn't even need to spar, really. He just needs to roll. He needs to maybe just drill stuff.
Technique.
Especially the way he fights. But if I had to pick, I would pick Michael Chiesa because I think even though he did have a couple losses, they were to I think Kevin Lee and somebody else really big. And then he's 2-2 in his last fight. I think so is Diego, but Chiesa's fighting just better guys. Yeah, he's longer, he's taller. I don't know if he's going to be able to finish Diego, but I think it's a 3-round fight of the night. I've got Chiesa.
I think he's going to submit him.
You're going to submit? Chiesa's going to submit?
He might even knock him out.
You know what, though?
I don't know.
Knock him out is more likely than submission. Diego's so good at rolling with shit. A lot like Tony Ferguson. I don't know if you ever saw his fight with Nick Diaz, but Nick tried to take him down. Nick would try to take him down with a Kimura. He would just roll into it and do...
Yeah, he's
But
insane.
once again, that was young Diego. Now we got...
No, but I think he's good enough
to... a good representation of his stamina still. He still has it.
Yeah.
Because he went all 3 rounds. It was in the 3rd round, he was fighting like he was in the first. It was insane. I mean, on this one, I opened up a different link page because I'll take anyone on $5 that Diego Sanchez is going to win this fight. Mostly because I hate... I hate
Chiesa too.
Yeah.
I don't even want to win that fucking bet.
Dude,
when did this come up with bookkeeping?
3 seconds ago.
Yeah, this is all the Monopoly money. We're not actually betting real money. But hypothetically, I could exchange that Monopoly money for real money because I bet $5 on Diego Sanchez whipping Michael Chiesa's ass, going all 3 rounds and winning a decision. Here's my reasoning because number one reasoning is that Michael Chiesa got punched in the face by Kevin Lee, and I think that made him a bitch for life. Bitch. He never did anything about that. He never defended his honor. Yeah.
Well, he did run up to him, but then got punched.
Then he got, just like me running up to you, and you're like, eh. So I hate Michael Chiesa. I hate the way he talks. I hate that he beat Carlos Condit because I love Carlos Condit.
I hate that part.
And
That's
he
right.
broke his arm.
And he had
too.
broke his arm. Also, another one of my favorite. The reason I love Carlos Condit is because I always thought it'd be funny. He says that line. He's like, "If I could do this for free, I would." And then Dana White's like, "I'll take you up on that." And he's like, "No, wait."
Did you hear the story with Michael Bisping talking about how they went to train with it was like army dudes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were training with army dudes and how do you say it? Carlos kind of they asked him, they're like, "Oh, how hard do you want to go?" And Carlos kind of had the most badass response. He's like, "We'll go how hard you want to go."
Yeah, hit me as hard as you want me to hit you.
Yeah, it was like,
That's what he told me.
and then the dude sucker punched him, didn't he, or some shit?
The guy hit him. The guy went for the knockout blow immediately and then clipped him. And I think
He rung his bell and shit, and he got back up and he fucked him up. Yeah,
Dude, I mean, Carlos Condit. Dude, do you ever look at the combinations he put it even against Nick Diaz?
GSP, that fucking kick, man.
Oh, dude,
Holy
just
fuck.
hit. He throws a double jabs, hook, and then he
Finishes it with the leg
with
kick.
a swivel kick. Yeah,
Yeah.
he swivels.
And it's weird because he puts his
head kick
body
me.
down, so
Oh,
it looks
yeah.
like the kick is going to be low to the ground, and all of a sudden, the last second, he throws it up.
Yeah, that's very Cain Velasquez-ish because his hips go right into it.
I would say Cowboy Cerrone.
Yeah, well, the Cowboy Cerrone, I see him throw those up, but Cain Velasquez throws them down, and they go right into your thigh. So I feel like the swivel on those dudes' hips is they have complete control of where that kick's gonna go at any given moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of the only guys that other than Johnny Hendricks that fucking put GSP in some big trouble, man.
Yeah.
Right?
Really big
When
trouble.
he fucking dropped him, I was like,
GSP,
Yeah.
George St. Pierre.
Yeah. So
oui.
Chiesa beating Carlos, he's dangerous. If I would predict, I would pick Chiesa. I certainly wouldn't bet because I do think Diego can win, and that's who I'm going to be rooting for. You've got Diego.
Yes, I got Diego winning by
Okay.
decision.
Okay,
But
cool.
We'll see how that one goes.
I think it's going to be a good fight, though.
Yeah, it definitely deserves to be on the main card. It's not one of those ones where the undercard one fight gets pumped up and you're like, who the fuck are these dudes? But where you don't give a shit. But I actually do give a shit about both of those fighters.
Yeah.
Mostly because I want to see Michael Chiesa lose every fight until he.
I think that's how most people watch him fight.
You know what the saddest part about that whole thing with Kevin Lee is? Do you ever hear the story about his mom?
Yeah, no.
So he's adopted. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, okay. I understand why you would get super mad if somebody insulted your adopted mother who brought you up.
Dude, Michael Chiesa is also probably gonna make more from suing Conor McGregor than he is from fighting his whole
Is
life.
that still in?
Dude, it's
shit.
in the works. He's suing him.
He's going to be the next Yoel Romero. Next, lawsuit settled. Chiesa's got 34 million.
$1
Yeah.
Well, how many is Conor worth? 50 million. He has 50 million in
Now
the
with
bank.
the whiskey thing,
He's
we have
gonna
no
he's
idea.
gonna get him.
Am I the only one that suspects Conor McGregor of setting that Jim Beam fucking thing on fire?
Oh yeah,
Set on fire.
Yeah,
caught
the
on
Jim
fire
Beam
and shit.
warehouse set on fire, and they lost somewhere around 10,000
Yeah,
barrels.
it's 40 billion or no 40 million something.
How much
I
is
don't know,
how much does it say he's
something
worth?
That's funny.
So let's see. Conor McGregor's net worth in 2019 is.
Bullshit.
They're giving us all the
Holy
bullshit.
shit, dude! Those pictures are
Yo, dude,
insane.
he's just dropping stacks right
Didn't
here.
he copy Muhammad Ali with that picture?
Yeah.
WrestleMania
Mayweather.
34
What the
hits New
fuck?
Orleans
What the
April 8th,
fuck?
and the WWE will be in Louis.
It's over there in the corner, bro.
Thank
But-
you.
So he
Not a
made
sponsor.
in 2015. He made he
10
made
million.
$10 million, but it's not saying his current.
Well, right here it said in 20.
Okay.
Just type in Google.
No, it said right up there. In 2015 he made 10 million, but in 2017 it said 100 million or something.
Jesus
like that.
Christ! Oh, so he's squabbling at least on 80.
Yeah, so right here it says McGregor. There we go again. Yeah, I think though he earned around 70 million for the Mayweather fight.
Yeah.
So,
and what he's making off Proper 12.
proper 12 is making
So
a lot
Michael
of money.
Chiesa will probably make $2 million off saying, he has to pay a bunch of those dudes from that bus off. He
Yeah.
still hasn't even fucked with the Ray Borg settlement either.
Really?
And that one, and that one's gonna fuck him up because he
That guy
actually,
doesn't even have a weight division.
yeah.
Okay.
Maybe.
Now we have it. As of 2018, McGregor was worth an estimated $99 million.
And that was probably before fucking.
Man, that was
12,
a
dude.
few. I don't know because he looks like he spent a lot of that money too. So
Oh yeah.
yeah. So
About hitting red,
Anyway, who did you have, Diego or Chiesa?
Yeah, I gotta go with Chiesa. I love Diego though.
Yeah.
Switch back to
Yeah, I
Conor.
gotta go with. It's just there's more ways to win for him.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Okay.
Let's move up.
This is a good one. Luke Rockhold versus Jan Blachowicz.
So many questions will be answered with this fight.
Yeah.
He's jumping up in weight. He's taking a little bit of time.
Hasn't fought in more than a year, almost a year and a half.
He was slotted
more
to
than
fight, but then got injured out of it, right?
Yeah, is that where he got his leg all tore up and
Yeah.
shit? Oh,
Yeah,
that shit looked
yeah.
nasty. There's so many questions. Like, is his leg recovered? Is the weight cut gonna be like, oh, now he's not gonna get knocked out as much? Because remember, he was getting like rocked in the last. I don't know. He got rocked by fucking David Branch. He got knocked out by Yoel. He got knocked out by Michael Bisping, of course.
Yeah.
But it's like all that's like, oh, maybe because he was too dehydrated, he couldn't take the same kind of punishment.
I think that's part of it. And if he looks good at this weight class and gets a dominant finish, I would like to see him fight John Jones. I think that would be cool. The buildup would be
I
cool.
want to see him fight Anthony Smith first.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Very much so.
And then if he wins that, all right, let's go to
And
John
he
Jones.
talks so much shit about Anthony Smith fighting
know.
Gustafsson. And you know what? I think that would be a good fight because Anthony Smith is not too far off the top
Dude,
five.
I'm going for Anthony Smith on that one. Even though I used to love Luke Rockhold, Anthony Smith is one all my life.
I think Luka Rockhold, he became like a bitch in my eyes, like after losing to Bisping, because it was like he didn't respect him. He lost his title because of it, and then like afterwards, he was like he just never acknowledged that he got
douchey about it.
thwarted. And I think that showed a lot of his character. Even though like at that point, you got to realize like what I was a big fan of is like you had essentially one gym producing one champion for every weight class.
Even now,
Even now, Khabib,
and DC.
Yeah, Khabib and DC,
Still
and
champions.
then a champ at that, right? But I would have loved.
Not to mention they had like Josh Thompson, and Josh Thompson knocked out Nate Diaz, or he put him in a TKO.
Nice.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
They had some good ass fighters even before.
Yeah, so it's like, did you hear about the fact that Dustin Poirier was supposed to be in AKA, but I guess like
Yeah, you told me
they
about
couldn't agree on like the first week he was going to start there. So instead he's like, oh no, I'm just going to go to Greg. He ended up going to Greg Jack. No, to the Tampa Bay. Where's the Florida one that?
ATT?
No. It's the one. Oh, God, who's there?
Black Zillions? I have no idea.
No, it's where Masvidal fights.
ATT?
Is it his camp?
Is it H? I don't know.
ATT's where Jorge Masvidal. fucking
Jorge
trained.
put a Jorge Masvidal training camp or gym.
Or you just put
Yeah,
this
what is it? Is it ATT?
Masvidal gym. He trains at.
I don't know if
American
it'll say
Top
that.
Team. Oh, it is American
It
Top
is.
Team
Okay.
because he's with Colby Covington and they both train there.
Oh, yeah.
So they're all from American Top Team. Produces a bunch of fucking killers too.
Yeah.
That's one of the bigger camps too.
Yeah.
Yeah. He went with another good camp, but it would have been interesting to see. Yeah.
Dustin Poirier looked so damn good in that Max Holloway fight.
Dude,
Yeah.
I felt really bad for like.
I felt bad for Max's kid there.
Yeah. Oh, did you see the
Crazy.
videos of him crying and
Yeah.
shit?
I like that
man.
Dustin Poirier. Like, imagine I whipped the living daylights out of you, Kevin, in front of your whole family,
Why would you do that shit?
because we got
And I'm not Kevin, I'm Jaime.
paid, bro.
Not Kevin.
I would fight any of you guys for money. I like. Imagine I whipped the living daylights because we both got paid on that one, millions of dollars. You'd do it too. You'd be the first one to do it. You'd be the first one to be like, why? If I fought David for $2 million, you'd be mad at me because I didn't fight you.
It's like, motherfucker, why didn't you fight me for $2 million?
You know I need the money.
I'll take a goddamn black eye for that shit.
But then imagine your kid's there, right? And you lose. But then I go up to your kid. I'm like, hey, just to let you know. And I thought this was super classy. Your dad's still a champ. It doesn't matter. Like, your dad's the best I've ever fought.
And then why'd you beat his ass?
Then why'd you beat his ass, you motherfucker?
Money. Money.
It's like, it's like, oh, you're gonna talk to me like that? Your dad was shit.
Slap the kid.
But so I mean, this is gonna be great. In this fight, to bring it all the way back to Luke, I hope he wins. I don't think he's fighting a nobody either. This is like his last two fights have been really entertaining and dominating too. Like,
This Blachowicz guy, is this the one that got knocked out by Johnny Walker not too long ago? Is that the same guy?
Wait, 2 fights ago?
Or did he get
If it
knocked out
is,
by
you're
Johnny Walker?
really stealing the win from his sales there.
I'm sorry, is he? I just wanted to know because I
Might
really
be.
don't know. Okay.
Yeah, but
curious.
his
But he could definitely win though.
Yeah, you'll win all right, Jose.
on the Joe Rogan podcast, they pointed out that
No, Johnny Walker's a heavyweight, so I don't think so.
no, Johnny Walker's a light heavyweight.
He's a light heavyweight, bro. What are you talking about?
Is he?
Yeah,
that's what he's been saying.
Because John-
Oh yeah. I don't know why I thought. I'm sorry.
Johnny Walker came out. Remember after his last fight, he's like, "Feed me, John Jones."
Yeah.
And then afterwards, he's like, no, but like in a year. So
Well, he was on another podcast and he said that he's ready to go fight him right now. He says, like,
no, he said he was ready to fight fucking DC, didn't he? Some heavyweight. He was like, I can take DC right now. Oh no, Ngannou. He said I can fight Ngannou right now.
Oh, that's why because I was like, yeah, I've been wanting to see them fight, but yeah, they're 2 weight classes. But yeah, anyway,
He's
what are you saying?
insane. Why would you ask for Ngannou?
Yeah, I know.
dude, Ngannou weighs in at 250 before
He's
his
a
fights.
madman.
That's insane.
And he's jacked and he's ripped.
Jacked.
Yeah.
He's fucking separating all
His
that.
reach is 83 inches. Holy shit.
Dude, when Ngannou hits people, it sounds like when something breaks a sound barrier. You know what I mean? It's like
Fucking sonic boom.
Yeah, he's like
You see his fist like go right to their face, and then it's like boom.
yeah, and he comes out the back of their skull.
He clipped Junior Dos Santos, right? It wasn't even a clean hit, and he was like, "Oh fuck!"
Yeah.
And he ran away.
He was completely disoriented from that. Poor guy. Yeah.
Him against Stipe rematch would be very good, and I am less confident in this one because he has gotten better.
Taking out some big wrestlers, man. Holy shit!
Yeah, I mean,
What the fuck?
Talking about some drama, let's move this up to the most dramatic. I think
well, actually, hold on. This is a recap. So you've got Rockhold.
I got Rockhold.
I've got Rockhold, and you as well.
Yeah, I guess I got it.
Okay, yeah.
Do you guys think it's going to be by finish or a decision?
He might submit him.
I think he can submit him. Yeah, I think he can, or at least TKO him, elbow him, smash him on the ground because he's a good grappler. But
got really good
I'd probably say decision. Probably decision.
And then also, just not to be the devil's advocate on this, but Blachowicz, when he did get knocked out by Johnny Walker, he actually went to go train in Thailand like the whole time afterwards because he was so disappointed.
Wasn't that Jared Cannonier?
No.
Wasn't it Jared Cannonier that got knocked out by Johnny Walker and then decided to do Muay Thai the right way?
No, I just heard about this on the
Pretty sure
Joe
it was
Rogan
Jared Cannonier.
podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Jared Cannonier. He was on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah, no,
Pretty sure,
but they were talking about him and how he got.
Not all black people look like. Okay.
Yeah,
This guy's white.
this guy's white. We'd
Oh,
be
okay.
able to tell. But anyways, yeah. So he did a bunch of striking for this. So I think and Luke Rockhold is an amazing striker. I always thought like that Weidman fight that he fucking had. I was blown away by how he handled Weidman. It was like they weren't even on the same level.
And he was on like some.
And you know what? His striking, even though his straight up boxing might have had some holes in it, but that switch question mark kick he would do and that long rangey jab, he had really good tools that worked for him in striking. And then having that wrestling base, he threw everything so confidently. So yeah.
And this is, so I'm definitely going Luke Rockhold, but I think he's gonna finish him.
Okay.
I think he's gonna finish him.
Okay.
Might get a body kick in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right. Time for the people's main event. I think
everyone is.
All right.
I think everyone's gonna. Like people will stop eating. People will definitely open up a beer before this fight even starts, just to have a beer there ready to go, because no one's gonna want to miss a second of this.
Yeah.
Fucking Jorge Masvidal versus Ben Askren. Thoughts, Ivan?
Here, let me just say this is my fight breakdown. What each needs to do. If you would have asked me a couple weeks ago, I would have been like, Ben Askren's going to take him down, submit him. But now thinking more and more, he did fight Jorge Masvidal did fight Damian Maia, and it was a split decision, and he was not uncomfortable on the ground. And he's the type of fighter that rises to the situation. He's got losses, but like the Diaz brothers, you know, they lose to some guys, but when it really fucking counts, like when he did against Darren Till in London, he makes it work. Ben Askren could still go in there, try to grab him, and it might look like a John Fitch fight, and he gets the W or even the submission. And that's what Ben Askren needs to do: tie him up immediately, run towards him, grab him up against cage in the clinch, drag him down or something. But I think Jorge, the first round, it's going to be a sort of boring wrestling match, but Jorge will figure out how to keep him from taking him down. I think he's going to finish him in the second round. I'm going for the upset. I know. What do you guys think?
I love it.
You guess this one.
Me? Masvidal.
Nice. Okay.
Kevin knows him because I kept on just showing him that afterwards Leon Edwards thing, where I was like, this guy's for real, bro. Even outside this shit. And then he was like,
This dude's a fucking monster.
yeah, he is.
I mean, did you show him the Kimbo Slice videos? This guy was fighting alongside
fighting
Kimbo
in
Slice in
backwards,
Miami. You know?
Like in the back. Yeah. It was. And now I feel like the other thing, to bring out about Masvidal is that
He's been in 46 fights.
it's
Holy
insane.
shit.
The guy is battle tested. Number one, he's the people's champ. Like, people just love his persona. Like, they love him. But the thing is, like, right now, what you're dealing a lot with on the internet is that Ben Askren is like this dorky fucking shit talker.
He's kind of a meme status right now.
He's a meme lord.
Yeah, he's a meme lord. Yeah, that sounds like.
I mean, they call him Funky Ben. You know, that's his thing.
Yo, he really into the funk, bro. He just like this weirdo. Like, so also he came from ONE FC and he's undefeated technically. So I really feel like the thing with Ben Askren that people have to like look out for is that he's not a gold medalist. Like,
he's not a gold medalist, but he's one of the best wrestlers. And
he just got whooped by Jordan Burroughs, though.
Yeah.
Wait, but that doesn't.
There's levels.
That guy's competing. That guy's like number one right now. And in fact, there was, if you do watch that, Ben Askren was very close to reversing him, and then the referee stopped it because they were out of bounds, and it was such BS. And even Ben Askren was like, that would have been interesting to see, but he held his own.
As someone who's wrestled a bunch like throughout your middle school / high school career, I feel like they always say that wrestling is like one of the best bases to have in MMA. But I mean, if you were to wrestle one of these younger kids now, would you be able to handle a younger fucking guy? Because you're out of practice. And the thing is, like, Ben Askren wrestles a lot and trains Tyron Woodley, like, is his wrestling coach. But he also has to diversify his like palette now with like striking. So like he wouldn't be able to wrestle with a top notch.
I'll actually agree with you on that part. Like when you said that wrestling is a good base, it's a good base, but you should be learning more stuff because there's a lot of. Like, if you're going to be introducing it into mixed martial arts, you get left with a lot of holes that you can get fucked up on. You know what I mean? You know, kind of just like back when we were kids, when we had kids fight in my backyard, dudes would just be charging at them and they get knocked in the face on their way to them. It's like, dude, this ain't wrestling.
You got to set it up, you know? Yeah, you know what? And I think Ben, coming from a different organization, his method of being a specialist and only having wrestling still worked just because those guys aren't high level. But if you saw his last fight, which he technically did win, he got hit with more punches in that fight than in every other fight combined. This is a new level.
He took more punches?
He took more punches.
Is that the ones where he just like snaked him, right?
And again, he won.
He's like a fucking snake, bro.
And again, he sort of still proved I can have just one thing, but then again, you're going to find someone...
Yeah, but at the same time, what does that go for the longevity of your career?
Exactly. And it was a very close fight to being stopped. He's going to have to...
Yeah, because like, okay, sure, you're going to do the one portion of what you do specialized, but then it's like, yo, if you're taking hits like that, bro, you're not gonna have a long career here. And another referee could have stopped that fight because he was taking a lot of hits too.
Dude, my favorite thing to mention about that is that Joe Rogan and a bunch of people had hyped up Ben Askren so hard.
Brendan Schaub.
Yeah, Brendan Schaub. For him to come in with like the dad bod that he had because he doesn't look like a fit dude. Yeah. And for him to just get...
Like the curly hair, he looks like he just woke up.
Yeah. And then it was funny as fuck because like I showed you that fight. Robbie Lawler had him at one point. He wasn't hitting him with straight shots. He was hooking him from underneath his body and hitting him in the face. He was running a train through this guy. Like
he slammed him.
Dude, he slammed him on his head like this.
His head was bouncing off the canvas.
Dude, it was insane. And then it was funny because even Dana White came afterwards and he was like, what the hell? Did you see Ben Askren's face? He looks like he lost that fight. But all he did was he was in the shit. He grabbed onto his leg. Classic move. Yeah. Then he dragged him to the floor. Then he pinned him up. They got up. He pinned him up against the cage. And then just boa constricted him down to the floor.
Bulldog choke.
Yeah. And then did like essentially what is like a neck crank.
Well, yeah, like he saw an opportunity and he took it. And I was like, oh, this is game over.
It's game over.
Because we thought he was just getting fucked up the entire fight.
Yeah. What do you guys think about the stoppage?
I think it was going to get there anyways. I don't really feel that cheated. Herb Dean also pointed out when he was on the Joe Rogan podcast that he said that one of the reasons I stopped it wasn't because I thought that Robbie was going out. It's because I've seen a guy get his neck cranked completely the wrong way, and he actually got paralyzed from his legs down for like a couple of weeks. Because I guess
a couple weeks?
Yeah, because he probably like tweaked one of his nerves or something.
Because he just like cranked his neck the wrong way. And it's like when you have somebody, that's why like in jiu-jitsu they always say like it's more dangerous to fight like a white belt because a white belt doesn't know.
boy?
A white
Sorry.
a white belt. Because it's like a white belt doesn't know when to let go of anything. While if you roll with someone who's experienced, if they put you in a spot, they're not going to crank it and like rip your tendon because they know they got you. While like that crank, that could have fucked Robbie Lawler up. And also another thing, when Robbie stepped into that cage, the guy looks like top-notch championship material still at
really
his
good.
age. He looks great.
You know what? Stepping into that fight, I think it was so dangerous for Ben because of what you said. He had so much hype, and then he also not talked a lot of shit about Robbie because Robbie's a legend. You really can't. And that's the other thing that Dana did. He's like, he got the toughest / most beloved guy / is loved by other fighters because he doesn't talk shit and he just shows up. So he was like in a lose situation. And so what was tough about that fight is Robbie didn't talk any crap, but when they were staring down, Robbie looked so ready, and Ben looked like a dork out there. Like, this guy does. And then the fight starts, boom, get slammed, boom, elbow.
crazy.
I was like, and then I remember at one point, at one point when they got stood up and Ben Askren was bleeding all over, he goes for a takedown, doesn't get it. I was like, oh,
That's it, yeah.
this is yeah. This may get really ugly and really sad for Ben Askren. He's going to get, and then somehow he got it. So I think what you said is correct. Like, even though he got the win, he can't be doing that. He can't be getting wins like that.
Yeah, he can't be taking fights like that all the time.
He won't be able to. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, he's definitely not going to earn his way into a title shot, like getting wrecked and then barely winning every fight. Like, that's not going to get him like in the fucking contender. Like,
Unless you're Homer Simpson.
it's gonna take 3 fights for him to get there.
Yeah, well, part of the thing that helps him is him being a meme status. That's what
true.
it's sort of the Chael Sonnen route because Chael does similar, just tries to grab onto, hold on to you, but the funniness is everything surrounding, leading up to and after. So
I mean,
he's bringing like publicity to it.
Yeah.
publicity he is, and that's why Jorge doesn't like him. It's funny. This is like a clash of two worlds because I do like Ben Askren. I can see why people like him, but Jorge Masvidal seems so real and so genuine.
Yeah,
You know?
Jorge Masvidal seems like the fighter, and then Ben Askren is like,
Seems like-
I'm just in here.
Yeah,
We
he
out
seems
here."
like he seems like just the athlete too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, Jorge Masvidal even says, like, dude, if I see you on the street before before the fight, like, I'm fucking fighting you in the fucking streets. I
yeah,
don't
he
give
does
a fuck.
not like him.
This
About
shit
that.
is
They're gonna be like, when you see two chickens, two cocks,
yeah.
and then they're just gonna fight the shit out of each other for making eye contact. They just make side eye, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna fucking fight, bro."
Yeah, we're gonna do this. What do you guys have on decision? Then what do you guys feel?
Yeah, I got Jorge Masvidal. I think there's gonna be a new level that comes out to this. I don't know if you guys heard the Eve Edwards interview with Joe Rogan, but he even said, he's like, dude, of all the people that I've seen, like, Jorge Masvidal is like one of the best. He just, he's got too much. There's so many like shit that like the ground game, the Brazilian jiu-jitsu, there's like all this shit, and then like he's crafty, like he fucking studies, he does his shit, and then like now I don't know, everything's just come together, especially in this last one. So I feel like he's gonna hit a new level in this one.
I think my specific one for this is I feel like he's going to be able to go into the 3rd round, get a Ben Askren that's a little defeated by the fact that his tricks aren't working. His one-dimensional game plan is going to get knocked down by Jorge Masvidal, who has a array of things in his arsenal, and I think he might finish him. But ironically, I don't think that he will be able to finish him by knockout. I think he's going to get him like on a TKO or just like either a cut or he's going to submit him. It's going to be weird.
Yeah,
I feel that might happen.
That's funny. I'm feeling that too. I can just a weird. It might be like the doctor stops it because he elbows him right in the forehead or something. I can see something like that.
Especially when Askren kind of comes really strong head forward to get these takedowns. You know what I mean? I feel like he might get rocked with something that just it cuts him open and he has to get the stop.
Well, yeah, like imagine if he was like fighting Chuck Liddell in his prime. When he's charging in like that, you're just going to get fucking knocked your teeth in.
Jorge Masvidal does have like incredible footwork. So he would just kind of just like step to the side, boom, pop. And I mean, honestly, like for a guy who just defeated Darren Till the way he did by practicing something unorthodox, which is like switching stance and throwing a left, which he never does. And to practice that 100 times and then go in and do it on Darren Till and knock him out. That guy was out while he was falling backwards. But the guy was out cold. So his punching power is there. He has the ability to do that kind of stuff. So I have Jorge Masvidal winning 3rd round. by either TKO or like submission, something weird.
Okay. Yeah. I definitely think Ben Askren can win. If he wins, I actually don't see him submitting Jorge Masvidal. If he wins, I think it'll be like a John Fitch where he just tries to make it a boring, ugly fight. And then before you know it, he gets his hand raised and it's over. But if Jorge wins, I do think it's going to be a finish, maybe in the second round. And that's what I think is going to happen.
Not to mention it's a 3-round too. It's not going to
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you would like to see a 5-round out of that. So I would have liked to seen this at a main event, like in a fight night. But I mean, honestly, you got to stack this card up high.
Yeah.
It's going to be good. Where do you think this puts Ben Askren or Jorge Masvidal if they win for a title in that division?
That's a good question. Supposedly, Jorge said he's getting a title shot if he beats Ben, which means who knows? You know, I don't know. I think it puts both of them just right up there. I think maybe if he wins and if that Leon Edwards, the guy that he 3-pieced up, if that guy wins his next fight, because isn't that guy fighting RDA?
So here's the line of so this is the welterweight, right? So here's the line to welterweight, because I've been studying this for a while because I'm actually super interested on how this is going to unfold over the next half year. You have Robbie Lawler, who just got slotted in to fight Colby, who's definitely whoever wins that one, Colby's up for the title after that. Yeah. Right? And then you have, for the welterweight division, you have right now Kamaru Usman, who's in slotted to fight anyone. Yeah. But probably going to fight the winner of Robert versus Colby, right? Yeah. And then you have, like you said, Leon Edwards, who is on a tear, fighting Rafael Dos Anjos, who is the gatekeeper right now for that division.
Yeah, but he's only had, I think, one top 10 guy so far, and that was Gunnar, which I know that was split decision, but I thought that was a unanimous decision. I thought that was BS, that it was a split decision. I didn't know what that was about.
Yeah, that was domination, I felt.
Yeah, I think Gunnar sort of came back in the last round, but he got dropped hard. He almost got finished like in the first 2 minutes.
I just want any guy's name whose name is Gunnar to win.
I know, I love that name too. And then the nickname Gunny is even better than the fucking name too, right?
Gunny.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
Gunny Nelson.
What would your nickname be? Like your middle?
Oh, my nickname?
Kevin.
Jeez, I don't even know.
Kevin the Impaler.
Impaler?
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Impaler. I don't know.
He's gonna stick a knife in me.
He has a knife in his pants right now.
Because there's a backstory of it that I stabbed people before I got into
Jesus Christ, that's a crime.
I really want to see Kobe and fucking Jorge Masvidal go down for that contender spot. That shit would be dope.
You know they're
fucking brothers in arms.
Yeah, they were training partners.
But they still said they'll fight each other.
They both said that, and actually they both said it in like a not disrespectful way, so you can tell that
that's why it's gonna be like fucking. Remember that movie with Tom Hardy, the fucking Warriors, where they're like brothers and they're fighting and shit.
But yeah,
it's gonna be like
and
that.
You know what? See, that's why I also have confidence in Jorge Masvidal, because he trained with Colby Covington and Colby's whole style. That's why I would love to see Ben Askren versus Colby because it's dope. Like the two wrestling. That would be cool. But
that would be kind of like when Colby fought Damian Maia, because I was actually super surprised that he did that to Damian Maia. That was really fucking awesome. That's what I gained respect for him. But then he opened his mouth afterwards and I lost respect.
And by the way, I think Tyron Woodley is still up there because he just lost. He had like a few defenses and then he lost a 3-round decision. So he's still top 5,
Fuck, imagine Tyron Woodley against Jorge Masvidal.
That's a fucking stacked division too. Welterweight is fucking good. Lightweight is fucking amazing right now. They're just stacked. But all right, let's get this going.
All right, we've all got Jorge. We got
Jorge. Everyone.
Moving on next to the women's bantamweight.
God. This is I love this fight, man, because
this one's gonna be boring. I think.
So we have Amanda Nunes versus Holly Holm.
I think so. It's going to be like one of those where they're like when Valentina Shevchenko and Amanda Nunes fought.
Yeah, that was really weird.
I feel like it's going to be like that.
You know what? Holly Holm fought Cyborg and it also went 5 rounds. Yeah. So, but I don't think it's going to be boring because I think.
But don't take that as disrespect. I'm not saying that they're boring fighters. I'm saying that they know so much.
They're so good
that it's going to be like
it makes them gun shy. They're so skilled that it makes them gun shy sometimes. Yeah.
It's like when,
because they don't want to make a mistake and get caught out for it.
Every mistake they capitalize and it could be a finish. Yeah. So
hopefully it doesn't end up being like Derek Lewis versus Ngannou style. Yeah. Oh God. Everyone just like
like that. Yeah.
I just liked like how that fight ended. Someone made the analogy that it was like watching a tennis match because you were just like. But no one was doing anything, but they just kept on like pitching it, or essentially like pitching it to each other, and everyone just like watching two dudes go like, he almost had him there. He's like, he could have got him there, but
like when Tyron fought Wonder Boy. Remember that shit?
Oh yeah,
I thought that was intense.
I thought that was a good.
People hated that one.
The first fight got fight of the night. Like everybody says, the one that was I guess boring was the one with Damian Maya. But and I don't think I actually saw that one.
See that one.
Yeah, but the Stephen Wonder Boy, I know he did knock him down like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, it was like in the fourth round.
I don't know. But I kind of see it because sometimes Tyron can be a little like
And then with Wonder Boy, it's like didn't Joe Rogan even say that? Like the only way that you can win against Wonder Boy is like making it like a fucking boring ass fight. And then Anthony Pettis came in and fucking knocked him out.
Yeah, I know, but that was almost
that was crazy.
No, but that is true. That's why the Darren Till fight was so boring because both of those guys, they know they can finish each other. You make one mistake, it's over. But I
have Nunes winning.
I have Nunes winning as well.
Yeah.
I think Holly Holmes' straight up boxing and footwork are better, but Nunes can blitz. The way she punches, she has like her arms are longer.
She has torque on it because it gathers like the momentum on it.
Almost like how Ngannou throws shit, where it's just loopy and curvy, and it just catches you right at the end. She's very good at doing that.
So she's got like more momentum in the punches.
The fight that you saw,
maybe it's just how she throws it, but
the fight that Kevin definitely watched with Nunes was we were over at Sam's house and we saw Nunes essentially get in what I call.
That fight was amazing.
A ridiculous squabble with Cyborg within seconds of starting the fight. It was just like, they're gonna end it. It
was like
here.
No fear.
It's like let's do this. And I thought that was like I was about to say a horrible word, but I thought that was the dumbest thing that the Cyborg could have done is actually try to go toe to toe with her because everything had pointed out that Nunes hits so damn hard that there's guys in American Top Team that say that they've been rocked by Nunes.
Yeah.
That she trains with a guy and then she'll swing and this is like all I see are stars. Like it's like I really thought that was ridiculous even though Cyborg has been battle tested and Holly Holm stuck her a couple of really good times in that fight, but I don't think she was ready to take the kind of hits that Nunes is ready to give.
That she can dish out.
I thought Cyborg. I mean, I thought Cyborg would do that just because she's coming off so many knockout wins that it's worked. It's like it's worked for her. She's had like 4. She's coming off like they created the weight class for her, and then the first like 3 or 4 people she's knocked out in the first round, except for Holly, and so. Now you have somebody who's lighter coming at you. It's like, okay, she can hit hard, but this is a higher weight class, and I've got like 5 knockouts, so I'm going to do what I normally do. And I think what happened was Nunes, she threw an inside leg kick that threw Cyborg off balance and then threw a left, and that really pissed off Cyborg. Because if you see that, she gets hit, she looks stupid like that, and she just runs at her and threw caution to the wind.
Even Nunes said that was like their plan, that they were going to piss her off.
Yeah, they were going to try to sting her with something and make her come,
and then boom,
and that's
that's dope.
Yeah, but I mean, I've got Nunes. I think Holly Holm can win, but I've got Nunes.
Yeah, I'm going with Nunes on this here. But it would be kind of an
upset.
It would be an upset if Holly won.
She.
I don't know.
She's champion material, but out of her last 4 fights, she's only won like 1 or 2. So she's on a bit of a skid. Whereas, Nunes is champion. So.
All right, let's main event this bad boy.
Main event. This is actually one of my favorite ones that's going to be going on.
I've been getting. So here's a little bit of insight to like what I'm doing to Kevin to hype him up for this fight. He knows who John Jones is. Yeah. I think at this point everyone does. Even it's a common household name.
Yeah.
You know, and technically another little sidestep to this is that was it Dana White's trying to get his one. Disqualification overturned so he can be an undefeated fighter because he technically is because the only fight you lost was one where you lost because you beat the living daylights out of someone so bad that you did an illegal move, which is like he did downward elbow like this
12 to 6.
12 to 6. You can't do that because supposedly they saw that like karate dudes were breaking boards like that. They were like, obviously that hit would like disintegrate someone's like fucking skull.
That would bust a hole in your skull.
But no one can land it. Like it's dude, if you can hit someone in the face like this with an elbow and that's allowed, why is this not allowed?
A light kick to the head is
or like a knee, a flying knee. It's a weird rule, but
like Yoel Romero threw a flying knee at Chris Weidman's head and hit it perfectly, and he had a split in his head from right here almost to the back of his head.
Jesus.
that was allowed, but this isn't allowed. So like he's trying to get that overturned. But anyways, like the point is, John Jones is a household name, right?
Yeah.
And now people are not paying attention to the fact that I think Thiago Santos is the brawler to cover that gap, that distance, where it's like, all right, he has distance. Everyone respects John Jones way too much.
Mm-hmm.
You saw it with Anthony Smith. You know, gun shy. Anthony Smith can finish people if he really wants to.
Yeah,
right?
he had finished it.
But he respects them too much. Like he knew that, like, okay, one error I make and I'm done, right? But I don't think Thiago Santos gives a shit about
he
errors.
doesn't. He just goes in. He's like, I'm gonna fucking throw hands.
He's charging the whole time. He's like the fight that he had with Jimmy Manoa. He throws like insane like barrel kicks where he's like throwing kick. He does a roundhouse.
He does the wheel kick really good,
and he does a roundhouse kick into another roundhouse kick into like a couple of flurries, and then another roundhouse kick, and everyone's like, "This guy's fighting like an idiot." Like
It's fucking crazy.
I don't know. I just think it's like this is a wild card. The definition of a wild card. I think we might see an upset.
But in terms of striking, though,
Really?
like John
Okay,
Jones has a fucking monster reach compared to Thiago Santos.
84.5 inch. Yeah,
true.
that is.
Thiago Santos is also older than him. I forgot that is actually a fact.
I mean, let's estimate up. Well, even though if he's older, bro, like this
Holy
dude
shit,
has
John Jones is
stamina.
31 years old.
I feel like in essence, this is just like John Jones versus Vitor Belfort all over again.
That's a good analogy. I really
that
like
is a
that.
good analogy.
Do the same thing.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen anything that the guys right near. There's nothing new, and I'm not saying Thiago. I think if Thiago can, burst in
Close
there,
the gap,
he could do that. But again, we've seen Machida burst in there and catch.
And Machida
John.
actually was like the only one
And
that clean.
yeah.
catch.
Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah. So we've seen that. We saw him fight Rampage, a guy who's a brawler who has a chiseled, freaking strong jaw, can take a
Battle-tested
punch.
jaw, yeah.
We see him fight Vitor, that Brazilian with knockout fast power, almost had him in the armbar, almost finished him.
That's the thing that I thought was like crazy. That's like the one thing where I look at John Jones and a lot
it
of
made
people
me think different. Like, he's about that life for
he's a
real.
champion.
Yeah.
He was ready to let him break his arm.
It totally was. Yeah.
And afterwards, if you look at how hyperextended his arm was after that, he needed work on it because it was like
his arm was fucked up. Yeah, when they the winner John Jones, his arm was like all hanging all loose.
And then he broke his toe in Chael Sonnen, and he fucking didn't even know it till like after he won.
Until Joe Rogan pointed it out. That was pretty funny. I really feel like, I don't know. So like John Jones is a champion of champions. Thiago Santos, I feel, is like the thing that you have is like let this be like known that
appreciate it.
I am 100% like a sucker for anyone who fights and Diego Sanchez is a great example of this on the beginning of the card. I love anyone who goes in there and then grabs their mouthpiece and clenches and says, "What's up?" and then just starts because the thing is like this fight, if Thiago Santos gets out of the first round, he's not going to win.
Yeah.
I 100%. He's never gone 5 rounds competitive.
You don't see him beating Jones in a decision.
No.
Like nobody sees that, right?
I agree with you, but I feel like that would be more prevalent like if it was like Johnny Walker, somebody who's long and is also crazy like that. I feel like that would pose a threat.
Yeah, you're right, because Johnny Walker, he's more dynamic with his elbows and kicks,
and
I think
spins and does all types of
Thiago
shit.
relies too much on his hands, and so what I think John Jones is going to have to do is what he normally does, which is, dude, he has such a repertoire. He stays really far. He's got 2 yardsticks that he jabs at you, and then he's got.
No, dude, it's true. No, I totally agree with you there.
I mean, literally, and then his kicks, dude. He does a switch kick, oblique kick, inside knee kick. He switches to head kick, and then he throws elbows like you throw jabs.
And
so
then
he
try to
flips
grapple
something.
with him?
Yeah. Oh, that's the other thing. If he does come in close, he likes to grab the arm, twist you around, fucking elbow you, and then
or like what he did with Glover Teixeira, where he fucking like turned it and fucked up his shoulder.
Fucked his shoulder up. He's really good at grabbing you, like moving your shoulder and boom, throwing in an elbow, stepping out, kicking you.
Those eye pokes.
Yeah, eye pokes.
Dude,
That's a real threat.
I told Thiago, I was like, somebody made a joke that Thiago Santos has already mentioned 2 times that he's like, I hope this is a clean fight, that he doesn't like eye poke the shit out of me. And then like, of course, like John Jones is like,
John Jones is practicing.
yeah. But that's the thing. It's like I told Thiago Santos to just go out with his hands like this and be like,
He just trying to. What is he doing?
Just go out like this.
That's his stance. He's like this.
Exactly.
Oh shit.
It's like, dude, it's like to watch someone Three Stooges that shit. Just like I don't know. It's
That
pretty.
works.
I don't know. It's okay. So like extending it a little bit more. This one, I think in the first 2 rounds, Diego Santos could end it. But if it maybe the first round, I see it not really getting that much better in the second if he doesn't end it. But I'm willing to put $5 on an upset.
Dude,
$5.
I believe sort of what you're saying, except he's got 2 minutes. If he can hurt John Jones, not necessarily have to finish him, but if he can fucking hurt John, you're like, oh, Jones is wrong. Do something, and maybe it goes. He gets taken down and goes to the okay, whatever. But if you can show me something the first 2 minutes. If in the first 2 minutes he's still like on the outside, okay, this guy's getting his ass kicked.
Yeah.
He's about to get kicked or something. Yeah. So it's just like, but it really in the first 2 rounds, no. I think you're gonna have to show me within 2 minutes that you're willing to go out there, maybe take a punch to land a punch. And if you can show me in 2 minutes, then I'll give you two rounds to maybe finish. But if within 2 minutes I haven't seen anything, no, Jones is winning for sure. That's what I think. And ultimately, that's my prediction.
No, I'm totally agreeing with that prediction.
Yeah.
Do you? And did you already say this?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't see it, man.
He doesn't believe,
You'll
man.
see it, I swear.
You'll see. I feel like a roided up Vitor Belfort would have been the one to do it, and if he couldn't do it, then what the fuck is this guy gonna
TRT
do?
Vitor, bro?
Come on, man. That was the dude. And he had him in the fucking armbar, and he still couldn't pull that
Because
shit.
TRT Vitor versus Thiago Santos right now, who the fuck?
Vitor's
Probably
gonna
Vitor
rip his head off.
You know?
TRT Vitor could like fucking just come.
That guy head
There'd
kicked
be
Luke
semen
Rockhold.
on the table here, and then I would
Wasn't it
100%.
a spinning back kick?
Was it?
Spinning back kick, Luke Rockhold fucking made Michael Bisping's eye pop out of his head.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Dude,
Fucking crazy.
He threw a wheel kick. It was like woof, right, full hit, like bam, like it hit him. It's like, and then I mean, to put it in perspective, I always think it's super silly that they put Michael Bisping whenever he sees an eye poke happen live, he's just like bullshit. Like, it was like, he's just like,
Bullshit.
He's like, dude, because he wears a contact in one of his eyes. He has a detached retina, and he's never gonna come back from that. I mean, I respect the shit out of him for fighting and continuing to fight regardless. Because when he goes in for his examination, he barely makes it every time.
That's why he quit, because when Kelvin Gastelum knocked him out, he said that he couldn't see out of the good eye, and then that's what scared him. And he's like, man, fuck, like if I'm already starting to get like shit with my good eye, like I'm done.
And Kevin Gastelum, like for me, his stock has never been higher, even after the loss to Adesanya.
Yeah.
Like so, like when you look at that going backwards, you realize how hard that guy can hit. And if Michael Bisping got knocked out by that, it's like Adesanya has to be a motherfucker.
And that was like 2 weeks after getting dropped by GSP and then getting finished. That was literally like 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah, he took
and then
super short notice.
A
Yeah.
12-hour plane ride over, you know.
Yeah.
So that's
He's a motherfucker. Let's line this up with a little bit of drama now. Let's talk about
Big drama show.
since we're out about the 239.
I gotta take a piss.
Oh, me too, dude.
And Jose, you're picking up where we left off. What were you gonna bring us up?
A little bit of drama about
For your mama.
For your mom on this. Oh, look, I have headphones.
Oh yeah.
Talk about my mother that way.
Don't talk about my mother that way. The funnier thing here is seeing Adesanya make comments on John Jones, and if John Jones wins this, what do you guys think about him, like essentially saying like, oh, I could beat you if I really wanted to, blah 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 blah. Like it's just like the weight class, the weight difference, the length, their actual statistics like side by side, like it seems okay on paper, but
Okay, that's funny that you say that. Let me ask you a question really quick. Who would you rather? I'll ask all of you. Who would you rather see John Jones fight next? Johnny Walker or Israel Adesanya? Who do you? And which one is a more dangerous fight for him?
well, okay, so all like statistics aside, so aka like height, weight, everything, like
Because it's not much difference for Adesanya though. He's 185, but he's still 6'4", and he cuts a lot of weight. So
I think Adesanya is a more crazier fight.
Wait,
because
hold on. He's 185 and he's 6'4".
yeah.
Dude, he's a lanky motherfucker.
Exactly.
Goddamn.
John Jones is also
6'3"
at 6'3" and 205. So he's like a skinnier version of John Jones. And I think he's gonna. Well, anyway,
I think Adesanya is a way crazier fight for John Jones because number one, you saw the Kevin Gastelum fight. He's a champion. Like he has championship mentality. I don't think Johnny Walker's ever been dragged out to deep water and left to swim for a bit. If he was in the 5th round, I don't know how he reacts.
What do you think about John Jones saying you got lumped up by a shorter wrestler and you fought a 40-year-old out of his prime Silva and he almost beat you? Because those are facts.
Yeah.
And those are facts.
That was hilarious. And he's like, you're a little light in the ass to be talking about that.
I know. What was that?
I was like, damn.
No, so because that is true, because that's why I had Kevin Gastelum. I predicted Kevin Gastelum to beat Israel Adesanya, and I even predicted him like he could even knock him out. Like I do think Kelvin he's very, very good boxing. But what impressed me so much about the Israel Adesanya is how good his ground was, how good his defense, or not his defense, his offense rather, because people can defend, but he attacked fucking Kelvin. Kelvin had to think twice before shooting on those takedowns, and that's supposed to be his forte. So
hey, even the takedowns, he got right back up and shit.
And the reason, exactly. And the reason why the Johnny Walker fight might be, I'm not saying it will be. I think Israel has proven himself with at least a wrestler and something like that. And Johnny hasn't, and he hasn't been dragged into deep waters. But he is bigger, he is thicker, and his last knockout where he was like, boom, throws one knee, lands it, and it's over.
And it's over. And he practices that knee. Have you seen him? He goes like he has a guy hold like a pad. It's like 6 feet in the air, and he throws a flying knee all the way up there. Like the guy.
Hold on. A flying knee? How tall?
He's about 6 foot tall himself, right?
All the way to the head.
So it's as tall as him, and he throws a flying knee at a pad about that high.
Dude, that's some athleticism, right there.
Dude, he's trying to throw that knee through your face. Like that's how crazy those knees are, and he practices it all the time.
Yeah, I'll say Johnny Walker would be the most athletic. Probably even more than Vitor, because TRT Vitor versus Johnny Walker, I probably have Johnny Walker, right?
Yeah, well, the length is on his side.
Exactly. So I would
that
say
name's such a tongue twister.
I know Johnny Walker, and he's Brazilian. It's great.
Yeah, how did he get a name like Walker? That's kind of weird.
Well,
He
actually,
says like a whole story about it.
yeah, there's a whole story, and it's not. It makes it even weirder. He's like, oh, that wasn't my real name. My real name is Walker Johnny. It's just like,
Like,
now
you have to explain.
He's like,
I'm his way.
I know, it's like he just switched it, I guess. But I think the power, athleticism, and explosiveness is on Johnny Walker's side, and I think the
But then
technical
you got like
skill.
85 professional kickboxing bouts that fucking.
That's why I'm saying.
Israel
Sorry,
Adesanya
that's why I'm
won.
saying the technical skill is on Izzy's side.
Yeah,
What do you think, David?
That's a hard one. I feel like I need to see a fight in Israel in that weight class first to gauge how much. Maybe he's like way better if he doesn't cut all that shit.
Yeah, and
But also, could you imagine if John Jones, and he did say, could you imagine John Jones grabs him, got a hold of him, grabs something?
Right.
I feel,
But then, like you saw what happened with like Derek Brunson. I mean, like I know it's a different level, but
oh come on.
I know, but I mean, like
Derek Brunson's
so fucking,
nobody compared to him,
dude.
But I mean, it's still good. I still admit that. Yeah, he has.
I'm not talking about Derek Brunson's skill. I'm just saying like how fast fucking Israel Adesanya was like bah, 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 when he was with those fucking shots and shit.
Yeah, but then you saw him fight Anderson Silva, and Anderson Silva.
But in that one, I feel like mentally, Israel Adesanya wasn't.
What do you think, John Jones? When John Jones is staring across the cage, crouched down, looking at him, and it's not a 40-year-old guy. It's a guy his age,
31,
who's way bigger, who's way thicker.
Old.
It's like I can imagine Israel getting out grappled and just dismantle on the ground, but
right?
I can't imagine John Jones getting boom, getting jabbed like that. I don't see that. You know?
Do you remember when Gustafsson fought him?
Like when.
Yeah,
I can't see shit. I was trying to see John Jones's record, which is 24. What is that Israel Adesanya's record in MMA?
it's like 15-1 or something like that. 16-1.
I just
Don't
feel
worry,
like John
Jaime's
Jones
got this.
Yeah, Jaime's got this.
What's the other fighter we're
I'm
looking
the
at?
human computer. Israel Adesanya.
Israel.
See ass porn. I'm just kidding.
From Israel.
Yeah, it's like
Asian ass porn. You remember that joke?
Oh, he's 17-0.
17-0.
Number one middleweight division, baby.
Yeah.
And he kind of looks like John Jones too. He actually does look like him a little bit.
John Jones is 10 fights up. Like he has to be like in a professional bout where it's like I really feel like Israel. That's
It was pretty funny though, because when he said, he was like, "Oh, I'm not ready for him yet. I'll fight him in the
my
future."
prime.
And then John Jones is like, "Okay, so you're calling me out, but you yourself are saying like, if we fight right now, I'm gonna kick your ass." And then you're like,
And I'd like to also not discredit my boy, Bobby Knuckles. Fucking
Bobby fucking Knuckles.
Robbie.
First of all, best nickname in the UFC.
Yeah.
Okay.
Selling
For
shirts like
sure,
that.
hands
Yeah.
down.
Bobby Knuckles. Like, I really think that.
I don't know, touchy feely's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Oh no, like one of our buddies. I like his.
Sam,
Sam Slam Torres.
Yeah.
Dude.
Oh, really?
That shit is dope.
Dude, but so Sam,
He's undefeated, by the way.
Sam is the one that told me about Bobby Knuckles and how that shit like unraveled, and I really, really feel like I can't have higher praise for Robert Whittaker, because you throw any man in the cage with Yoel Romero and like fight this chiseled motherfucker, he did it twice.
Yeah.
And beat him twice.
Second time, maybe not so much convincing.
I still think that went to Robert Whittaker.
I don't.
Even though he got rocked in one of those rounds, it proves that he's a champion because he came through again and then won the first three, lost.
I think he got rocked a couple times.
Who? Yoel?
Robert Whittaker got rocked in the fourth round, dirty.
You know, I actually didn't see the last fight. That's one of the only fights I saw.
That was in
first
Chicago
fight.
too. I was at that fight.
Yeah, it was. I didn't watch it, and I heard sort of the consensus is a lot of people thought Yoel won. You know,
Yoel also didn't make weight, so it's like
that's the other thing,
like, you can-
and that's huge. It's not like, oh, he didn't make weight, so he wouldn't be the champion.
Yeah,
It's
he's
like
got more energy
That
and
is huge. This guy didn't have to spend like an extra 3 hours when you're already dehydrated, hungry, and you still got to go back in the hot sauna. That affects you the next day, and I think he does that on purpose. He did that for the Luke Rockhold fight. On big fights, he just doesn't make weight because I think he knows how much you are depleted, and that's giving him sort of an unfair sort of edge, but he got the W.
And
it's going to be a really good fight.
He's not wavered. The thing is, like, dude, you think you're gonna throw a Robert Whittaker, my boy Bobby Knuckles, inside with Adesanya, and Adesanya is like, you never fought anyone like me, and I'm like, he fought Yoel Romero,
Yeah.
a fucking chiseled Cuban god, like, and he threw him in the cage with him and he withstanded like essentially like a knockout blow, because no one can tell me that at the end of that fourth round, in the second fight, Robert Whittaker sat down. I don't think he knew where the fuck he was. Like, he was rocked. And he came back out to fight a great round against him and almost knocked him down and took the fight in the fifth round. So, like, I think before, and I know it's all part of the game now. You have to call people, you have to talk shit, you have to say, oh, I think I can do this, and that. But Adesanya has his biggest challenge ahead of him. And not only that, but one of his own natives were like, those people from Australia and New Zealand are so together. That's going to be the biggest fight card that Sydney. They're going to do it probably in Sydney, Melbourne.
Yeah, for sure.
They're going to do it where they did it. They had the Ronda Rousey Holly Holm fight, which had 56,000 people. So this one's going to break that.
Yeah,
for sure.
For sure.
It's going to be crazy. Let's talk about, like, after Adesanya unifies that title.
Wait, so you've got Adesanya winning, or
no? I have Robert Whittaker winning.
Okay.
If he does unify the title, which is what I'm saying, like, let's see him unify the title before I feel like I even have a chance.
Yeah.
Okay, but even now, I could say, like, I still think it's a good fight for him to fight John Jones. But, like, if he beats Robert Whittaker, I'm maybe getting on this train with a one-way ticket all the way to.
For me, I need to see him fight Yoel Romero.
Exactly. Thank you. Okay, so the big test for me was not Derek Brunson. It was Kelvin Gastelum.
Yeah.
The way he beat him, he did impress me. But to me, he's had one big test so far. Now, that's a huge test because I do think Kelvin is championship material. In fact, I thought Kelvin was a more dangerous fight for Bobby Knuckles than Israel was.
Yeah.
To be honest.
That would have been a banger.
Dude, I love that nickname.
Yeah, I told you. It fucking rolls off the tongue so well, right?
Every time I hear somebody say Bobby Knuckles, I'm like, yeah, let's fucking go.
I know.
I want to see this fight.
Doesn't that sound like a bouncer or something? Like Bobby Knuckles.
It's like,
That sounds like somebody like just like, hey, yo. It's like, I'm just tired of hearing your excuses, man. And if I don't get my $100, my boy Bobby Knuckles is gonna come in and is like, no, I got the money, man.
Bobby Knuckles. No.
Dude, Bobby Knuckles sounds like he's just one of your homeboys. Like, just like, hey, it's like, yo, you want me to get Bobby Knuckles up in here? It's like, no, I don't want to see Bobby. I'm good.
He embraced it after like days and made shirts like 2 weeks afterwards. And I think that, that's the one shirt I'll wear, a Bobby Knuckles shirt going into this thing.
I'll wear, dude, I haven't even seen a fight. but I'll wear a fucking Bobby Knuckles shirt.
Just the name alone.
Yeah, just-
No,
Kevin Gastelum versus Bobby Knuckles would have been like the
that would have been the good fight. I think two fights that I wanted to see Israel fight against. Two fighters I wanted to see Israel fight against before getting a title shot. One was Kelvin, and the other one was Yoel. But because Yoel has some explosive, great wrestling, and it's a real clash of styles, and he also has that knockout power.
Explosive.
So I would have loved to see him against Yoel Romero, but.
I feel like that one kick that Kevin Gastelum landed, that kick that he threw on him, I feel like Yoel would have thrown something like 3 times that shit. Like, because he throws, like, he does that. He lulls you into, like, that pattern, all of a sudden fucking flying
And
knee.
he does it from, like, 12 feet across the cage. He's like, and before you know, he's like,
holy shit.
He
He's like,
just,
you know, fucking Jesus. And then fucking hits you with it. Like,
exactly.
Christ.
I love that.
Oh man. So that's a little drama to like lay us into
for your mama.
For 239. And the one thing I have on here just to like kind of lay it out is the last couple UFC fight nights have been pretty good. We already talked about Ngannou a little. What do you guys think about that Korean Zombie knocking out Marciano the way he did?
I'm actually a big fan. I'm a big fan of.
I call him Marciano because it sounds like
huge
more.
fan.
Yeah,
I'm actually
of Zombie.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of him.
Yeah, the nickname's awesome, and then the way he fights is awesome. Because they call him the Korean Zombie just because he can take a punch. You
And
know?
he moves forward. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like how he thinks. You know, he took Eddie Bravo's twister method that nobody had done in the UFC. First guy to do it. And then also, I think he was gone. Wasn't he gone for 2 years because he had to join the Korean army? And he
So
comes
that's
back.
one of the
the Wonder
things.
Boy?
That was the speech.
It's been a couple of guys, I think.
Yeah, because it was the
Yeah.
Korean Superboy or some
So-
shit too, right?
Yeah, because
Yeah, and then-
in Korea it's mandatory 2
yeah.
years military
Yeah, but
service.
so did that's true. So did Chan Jung Sung and I think somebody else.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but I thought that was him.
No,
but,
it's him too.
well, he was gone for a while. So,
Yeah.
and when he came back, dude, that knockout power, that's like that Cody Garbrandt type of knockout power. Many guys in that division don't have that, and that's like where they hit you. That's like that middleweight knockout power where you get clipped and you get. That's
yeah.
how he hit him with, that.
Oh, it was a perfect right to a left, right?
Yeah.
So he hit him not only with the right one that hit his chin and just knocked it perfect, but then came from the opposite side and hit him again right behind the ear. So it was like perfectly. It's like basically when you see a guy drilling with pads and it's like he won't be able to land that shit, and then he lands that shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it actually reminded me. He has like a 12-second knockout over Mark Hominick when
Second fastest.
second fast in the UFC when they fought. I think it was
Hominick was a motherfucker at this time too. I
Yeah.
thought. Yeah.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was. He was.
He was
'Cause
really
he
underappreciated.
looked really good against Jose Aldo in the title shot. His
Oh yeah.
stand-up looked really
Hammer
good.
jazz motherfucker.
Yeah, and then he goes in there. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It looked like a
Big-
softball and shit.
He had he got a hit in the head like here, and he had like a golf ball.
Just a big old
No,
knot?
it wasn't even a golf.
No,
it was like a softball.
It was
Yeah,
like
it was huge.
It was like another head coming out or
I
something.
was scared that Jose Aldo was gonna hit it and it was gonna rupture and he was gonna die because he would have died from that. Like I feel like he would have just bled out. But anyways,
Yeah, no, Mark Hominick is fighting in his home country. He goes in there against Korean Zombie and he throws one right hand. Korean Zombie slips it, comes over the top, and then just finishes him. So he's got really good knockout power, really good finish instincts. I love how he fights.
Jose, wasn't it you that said you wanted to see him fight Jeremy Stevens, or did he fight him already?
No, he already fought him.
Yeah.
You already fought him, right?
Did he fought him?
Yeah,
that,
look
that
shit
is a
up.
good fight.
Jeremy Stevens versus Korean Zombie has it happened because I think it has. So here's Jeremy Stevens already calling out Korean Zombie for that fight to go to the title. So basically, he's asking for that fight to happen. What
am I looking up?
Jeremy Stevens versus Korean Zombie. Yeah, there it goes. I think it already happened.
Yeah, and he won third round decision.
Wait,
No, it's Zabit.
That's a beat.
Oh, that's the beat. Oh no.
Jeremy Stevens.
Maybe that was supposed to be that fight. I don't know.
Did it? I think. Look.
Yeah, him versus Zabit.
I want to see him fight Yair still, man.
Dude,
Yeah,
Yair has so many good fights ahead of him. Jeremy Stevens calls out.
Dude, and then honestly, Yair versus Chan Jung Sung, I thought Chan Jung Sung was gonna win.
He was winning that fight.
He was winning. But I mean, before the fight, I thought he was gonna win, and then
or just look
the fight as it was unfolding, he would have won by decision for sure.
Yeah. Also, I heard that Yair went into that like really bad condition too.
Dude, yeah, he did. Because
I mean, of course, every fighter goes in with their shit, right? But
Yeah.
I mean, I heard that one. It was really bad.
Wikipedia win losses. I'm pretty sure Korean Zombie has fight Jeremy Stevens.
Here, just click that Wikipedia right there.
Oh, you
should be able to scroll down this whole record. And let me just see if his name's on there. So
Dustin Poirier? He won against Dustin Poirier?
no, he's never fought him.
No, he's never fought him. All right.
He won against Dustin Poirier?
Oh shit, with a Darsho.
What the fuck?
Yeah, Dustin Poirier's got a couple losses of like Michael Johnson.
Oh yeah,
that guy has wins over Dustin Poirier and over like a couple other ones, and like a first round KO.
Michael Johnson.
Oh,
yeah, that's why I still respect. And even after that Josh Emmett fight, Josh Emmett was having a horrible time trying to find his spot with him. Yeah, and I think it was a little bit of fear from the Jeremy Stevens fight and being out the way he did. Yeah. But like Josh Emmett, like for him to win against Michael Johnson in that knockout fashion, I was like, all right, this dude's a fucking motherfucker.
I love that Josh Emmett got that knockout win just because, man, his last fight was against Jeremy Stevens. He got knocked out really viciously. Bad. I mean, like he was unconscious, and then he got like three elbows,
two more elbows
that
were unnecessary,
and he didn't fight for like another 18 months. Like because who the fuck knows what's going on?
Josh Emmett, he got knocked out with an elbow that was so bad that it broke his orbital bone, and he had to be in a dark room for like 2 months afterwards because of like the concussion. And he was and he said he would be walking and vertigo would hit him hard. Yeah. That's when you get knocked out like that, man, that takes a year at least out of your life.
I felt so bad for him because I remember he was getting close to the title and he was talking about the title and wanting to fight, and then
but that proves how much Jeremy Stevens is a killer. Yeah. So to bring it back all the way to Korean Zombie, I think it was amazing that he won in that fashion. I think number two, I thought it was crazy that not only did he win, but he went out and pretty much said like this is cost like. Coming to the U.S., bringing his wife was bawling hysterically, because he said like I had to move my whole family over here. Like he said something like in an interview before where it's like you don't know what it is to like
Who said it?
Korean Zombie. So he's like the patriotism you guys have here like it inspires me because basically like like I had to show that for my country, and it took 2 years away from my career to be in the military because he knew he wanted to do this from the beginning. So to have to go do 2 years of military service, it could have stunted his career heavily, but if in a way, it's like he's
that's why I respect him so much.
You have to do it.
Like you
as a citizen, you have to.
I like that too. I actually think that should
be everyone.
No, that's off topic MMA, but that would be kind of cool.
We just go in there fucking
too many lazy Fortnite fucking people
not
here.
4 years, but like do 2 years mandatory.
Yeah,
that would just like make us ready for anything. But anyways, on that same note, like to see him come back from that, I think it puts him in the even after his loss to Yair Rodriguez, which was probably KO of the year, and I think it is KO of the year.
It was badass.
This year, fight of the year is shaping up to be Kevin Gastelum versus Adesanya.
Was a badass
but knockout of the year is for him to come back and do essentially what could be considered a contender for knockout of the year this year. I think a Jeremy Stevens fight versus Korean Zombie would set him up for that title. Because who do we have in that division?
Brian, what about Brian T. City?
Oh yeah, that's
that would
true.
be good.
God
See, the only problem with Jeremy Stevens is he's one of those 2 wins, 1 losses kind of guy.
Yeah.
Kind of sucks. And he gets big wins, but then he gets a loss, and he'll be out of the picture for a while, and then he'll come back.
Who the fuck is that
guy? You need somebody, either I think like Zabit.
When I knock people out, they don't get back up.
They don't fucking move.
They don't fucking move.
Dude, because he's a killer, dude. He's a fucking killer.
He is. I like him. But just somebody who's newer on that level, either Zabit or
Zabit's a motherfucker.
Zabit. That would be a good fight. Brian Ortega would be a good fight.
T-City. Dude, Mike.
I want to see fucking Crone Gracie against Brian T. City.
Dude, that'd be funny.
See, that's the thing. Crone Gracie has 1 fight in the UFC. That would be badass.
He needs a couple.
Eventually,
maybe.
Very interesting.
So I'm gonna segue this one away from UFC. One of the ironically, the twister thing that the Korean Zombie put out there, right?
Okay,
that was against Leonard Garcia, right?
Yeah.
Leonard Garcia now has a main event in bare knuckle versus the guy who fought Artem Lobov the first time. It's I forgot what his name is.
Something Highs, Jason Hughes, Jason Knight.
Jason Knight. So just to kind of move this around, how do you guys feel about bare knuckle in general, and do you feel like that's like avenue for like retired fighters or like?
Yeah, so it's so many things. Before it happened, I thought that'd be a good idea. Afterwards, it's like, wow.
It's too gruesome.
It's just like, I hope it now, I don't want to be the guy saying they shouldn't do it, but I think on paper, it seems like a better idea. But in practice, from what we've seen so far, I think it showed us that the MMA guys are more well equipped to handle a bare knuckle fight than a straight up boxer. I think it's showed us that, and it is sort of like the retired UFC fighters league, and it's a way for them to make money after they're no longer at that UFC caliber and they're not just thrown aside. They can still make money, so that's good. I'm a little conflicted. What do you guys think?
I think I agree with you 100%. I think I actually like the idea a lot and watch it, and I've watched like a lot of the fights, especially because they're giving them away for free on YouTube just to hype up the whole.
Which is cool on their part.
Yeah, that's a big thing that I think the UFC really gained a lot of like. Because it was like, oh, do I want to watch this fight? It's so new, and they were like, here, we'll let you watch the both fights for free on YouTube, and they're like, oh, that actually creates more fans.
Yeah, Daz and DAZN, DAZN, whatever the hell that's called. They do that too sometimes.
Yeah. And the like, I don't think Kevin would be as hyped up for this UFC if I didn't show him all the free fights that Diego Santos has, where they're showcasing him and why he should be fighting for this title. Yeah. So now we see,
like, you build up hype for it.
Yeah. So like. The bare knuckle FC thing, I had to say I'm a fan. I like to see the fact that Chris Lieben, which I loved Chris Lieben.
Yes, I know. I was like, he's perfect for that.
He's perfect for this.
Yeah.
And that brings up one of my other things when we'll move this on to David. But in the meantime, can you look up the rules for bare knuckle FC and what they actually entail? Because I feel like everyone's kind of like they don't really know what's going on. But I think it's fun. Like I think it's like the same way that I feel like anything's going. It's not to the degree where it was like Tito Ortiz versus Chuck Liddell, where it's like two tired men doing MMA.
Yeah, that was pretty sad.
That's sad.
That shit.
This is more like let's take these dudes' gloves away and let them fight themselves to death. I like that shit. I want to see some more of that shit.
Did you see how Artem Lobov and Jason Knight looked after their fight?
Oh,
it looked like they let a few pit bulls bite their face for a couple minutes.
Their faces were destroyed.
I mean, shit was hanging off. Stuff was swollen.
Yeah.
I was like, I hope these guys got paid a lot of money. And maybe they did.
They say
they're taking a lot of punishment for that shit.
With sponsors. They say that they're making more than some of the fighters in the UFC.
Exactly. See, so, and the other thing with bare knuckle is, and that's why they had the Artem and Paulie Malignaggi fight, is they're giving them much more back end of the pay-per-view, mainly because not a lot of people buy pay-per-view. But I actually read an article that said that their last pay-per-view had more views than the last UFC's fight night or something like that. So I think they're giving a huge cut for the guys who can bring in the eyes. That's why they have Paul Malignaggi and stuff like that. And I think the guys, they're letting the guys come in there with their own prepaid sponsors. So, yeah, if you're one of those guys that's a legend, that has sponsors, the UFC will only let you sign with a Reebok and they're going to pay you shit. And then maybe you don't even qualify. You're not at the caliber anymore to be in the UFC, but you still got sponsored and you got name recognition. Perhaps this is a way to make that, good money. I don't know.
How do you feel, David?
I don't know. I feel like, it's too much punishment for that. Like, where they are in their careers, they're like super old and then like, they're going to be doing all that kind of damage. I feel like it would be better if they just promoted like, we're literally going to let even though it's implied in like Bellator and all these other places where like they kind of let them do like steroids and shit, but it's like if they just said like we're going to do like basically regular MMA
like pride rules,
but we're digging all the fucking legends, like that Legends League kind of thing, and just be like, we're going to let them do all the fucking steroids that they want. Let them fucking prepare.
Vitor is back,
exactly.
And gentlemen.
Yeah, let's do Chuck Liddell on all the steroids.
Yeah,
see how
Liddell
he looks without a cut.
Vitor too.
Yeah,
and Liddell's juiced up now.
Exactly. Yeah, and like let's
It'll
just
be like human cockfighting.
Yeah,
fuck it.
I love it.
Except they actually have gloves on, so they don't cut the shit out of their faces.
Let's juice these motherfuckers up.
Yeah, shit.
I
feel like that would be a way better way to go, and then we wouldn't be, because like they're fucking each other. Like you said, their faces are all fucked up, and it's just like Jesus Christ.
And I have a perfect segue into the next subject after that, but let's look at some of these rules right now. Yeah, bum fights. Some of the rules people are really shady. They don't really understand. Like, is this like MMA? Why are the MMA guys faring so well? I feel like the play style does kind of like the clench is really aimed towards like.
Didn't the referee cut up or break up the clench too many times?
Too many times for the Paulie Malignaggi. Well, yeah, and that's like while we're on the subject, it's like I think that was a lot of people were really surprised that they saw an MMA guy kind of win this fight, but he tried to jab him. He tried to jab him the whole time and speedbox him and stuff like that. And the rule is it's 5 rounds, 2 minutes each, right?
Yeah. 3 minutes.
3 minutes or 2?
Yeah, I think it's.
Does it say on there?
The fights are 2 minutes per round.
Okay.
5 rounds.
5 rounds.
So the fights are fast, right?
Yeah. Damn,
and that kind of just really, really links into the fact that like you could do a lot of damage in 2 minutes with bare knuckle.
Yeah.
So they don't want it to go 10 rounds because that's insane.
Yeah.
But so punches are only strike allowed and must be closed fists. No kicks, no elbows, no knees, or grappling. So grappling technically isn't allowed. But in the clinch, the fighter may punch his way out with the open hand if there is 3 second lull in the action while clinching.
So that's
the referee
two
will
separate rules in one.
Oh yeah. So basically, it's saying like, as if you grab onto someone in the clinch, you can keep on hitting, right? And essentially, like if they feel like you stop hitting and you're tired, they're gonna break it up. But that's for boxing going into bare knuckle boxing. That's a huge difference.
That's why dirty boxing isn't allowed in the UFC. That's why the referee breaks it up every 2 seconds, because the thing that you naturally want to do where you might have an advantage, you can't do. So somebody who's coming from the UFC where you have more options and has got more experience doing that, I think it's going to be...
I mean, you saw it in the Conor McGregor versus Mayweather fight. He did that like...
That's the thing. It's like it's conceivable for a top UFC fighter to go 12 rounds, maybe lose, but go 12 rounds with a professional boxer. It's not really conceivable for a professional boxer to last 1 minute in the UFC. I think that's the difference there. But
what do you guys think about the president of the bare knuckle thing, where he was at one time where he was saying that guy wasn't going to get paid because he didn't it wasn't exciting enough or some shit?
They ended up backing out.
Yeah,
of that
he backed out of that shit
immediately.
real quick.
you know what? The fuck?
That's illegal, dude. You can't do that shit.
Yeah.
You gotta pay him.
The way he explained it was kind of funny. It sort of made sense, but he was kind of like, that statement was supposed to light a fire in the ass of everybody else who was back there and put on good fights. And he's like, and that's exactly what happened. And I kind of thought, I was like, I don't know. If I'm working with this guy, I'd be like, that's fucking awesome. Say that. All these people are going to be pissed off. And then afterwards, you're like, I'm just kidding, guys. Here's your check. You made it a better fight. I was just playing, but we got like more views now. So fucking relax. Cash your check, So I was like, fuck it. It's some, promoter in the fight game. They're all dirty.
I like the rule number 9 on this bare knuckle says that all fighters are expected to give 100% effort and behave
with complete sportsmanship.
They were like, don't be a little pussy. Don't.
Like, you come here to fucking fight.
Yeah. Fighters will toe the line. So that's another thing that I think is super silly in bare knuckle. When they start the fight, they don't start at the opposite sides of the ring.
That's really weird.
They come up to the middle, and there's a line, and you have to put your toe on the line. So
it's like a kickoff.
Oh, that's like wrestling, dude.
So like the fight starts, you're in the pocket when you start.
Yeah.
So in wrestling, there's a line. Both of you have to put your toes in, and then you go in your stance.
That's how it is.
They're like, new rule: the outside of the ring is on fire, and it's consuming more and more.
I think they should start him off with like the fist right by the chin. Ready, go. Just start.
They're both winded up, and they're just like, ready, go.
Can you imagine like if they did exactly what you said, and then just like dude just gets knocked out off the go?
The Wing Chun guy always wins. He's like,
the dude who's got the 6-inch punch will always win.
I know.
Exactly. And then the knockdowns are weird too, right? So like it's like.
Isn't it just like that arm wrestling shit? Remember the arm wrestling one where they go and they're just like beating the shit? Oh, no. They're tied to each other, aren't they?
X-Force.
No, they both.
Have you seen that?
So stupid.
I was like, yes, more of that, please.
They both have to hold onto a bar. They have to grip that bar while they just fucking.
Yeah, like there's no technique. There's nothing to it. It's just who can fucking last longer.
It's just like because naturally your body wants to bring up that other hand to guard your face, but you have to be like,
You're just like, dude, you're just essentially just signing up to black out. I mean, I'd rather just drink 10 beers.
It's literally like hockey fights, but put on the ground.
Whoever's on
put on the fucking table.
Whoever's on PCP just wins everything.
Yeah.
Fucking,
all right. Biggest topic: Tom Cruise, Justin Bieber. No, but what did you guys think about that? Because I actually got Tom Cruise because he does his own stunts. I think he'd probably kick his ass.
We actually also brought it up on the podcast website. On the website or our Facebook page, that also Steve-O was just like, hey, don't fight Tom Cruise, fight me instead.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's the new development in the...
Do you guys remember Risky Business?
Yeah.
So Risky Business, the movie, it's funny because one of the scenes in there is it's Tom Cruise wrestling with like essentially his friend, right? But then what people don't realize is that Tom Cruise is like championship.
Yeah, he's like a state champion.
He's a state champion.
Oh, really?
wrestler.
Yeah. He's
okay.
he's
Yeah,
a
I
good
definitely got
wrestler.
Tom Cruise.
So then Tom Cruise is like, he's not like anyone.
But then Justin Bieber trained with Floyd Mayweather, so then
That's all right. Just because I hang out next to.
But he doesn't have the height.
The poster for that should be like unstoppable force meets a movable object.
Oh yes, I like it. I mean that I would have Tom Cruise in that, and I love how Dana White jumped on that. He was like, dude, I'll put that shit on a main card because the thing is like people would actually buy that.
Yeah, hell yeah.
A lot of people would buy that actually.
And we're getting to an era where shit like that is like people are like, yeah, fuck it, we'll do. Yeah,
YouTubers fight each other.
My mom
boxing
versus
matches.
your mom.
Oh, yeah.
People love that shit. Logan Paul,
And
like
there,
could
yeah,
fight
Logan
whoever.
Paul, and there was like a celebrity boxing match in the '90s where celebrities would be. It'd be like I don't know, like 3 2-minute rounds, and the gloves would be like 25 ounces. You really couldn't hurt each other, so that was I guess,
we're
successful.
safe.
Yeah, I know.
But if you had someone who knew how to throw a punch, they would put someone out.
Yeah. Especially if you have MMA, now anything can
yeah.
happen there. But
So we're talking about a good segue from bare knuckle is like saying like, all right, there's these leagues where they do let you kind of do whatever you want. We all know that like we went to go see Bellator. How do you guys feel about Bellator? We just had Machida essentially end Chael Sutton's career, and he
looked good.
He looked good, dude. Those kicks he threw, damn, he's
Those
rocking them.
knees, bro. Holy shit, bro.
Machida still has it. I mean, I don't know what he's doing over there, but he's like probably doing.
Well, he fought Sonnen, so
Yeah.
it's all good.
So it's all good. I mean, they're on an even playing field there. I mean, how do you guys feel about the Bellator talent pool? Because like you had Paul Daly just fought this weekend. Musashi just lost. That was weird.
Yeah. I think it's great. I love it. Huge fan of MVP and Douglas Lima. And actually, that fight went high. That was a really good fight. I mean, he showed off his skills, and Douglas Lima showed off his technique. It was really good. I like how they're building up their own fighters. They used to sort of promote off the backs of just UFC fighters, and they still kind of do that, but you can tell that they're now promoting their own homegrown MVP, Douglas Lima, and even
Chandler's a
Chandler,
best.
yeah, exactly.
For him to lose that fight that we went to, Dave.
Oh yeah, against that Pitbull.
Yeah,
guy,
that was crazy.
That's another good fight. I mean, yeah, they're building up their own talent.
What do you think about Scott Coker saying that he's down for promotion against promotion?
That's fucking badass because they were supposed to
that's
fight.
fucking illegal.
That's illegal. No, that's like boxing, man. People can unify boxing titles where it's like the WBO versus like the World Boxing Organization versus like a couple of other boxing organizations.
Yeah. Well, it's hard with boxing too. That's why Anthony Joshua hasn't fought, Wilder or Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
What about Ngannou versus Deontay Wilder? Holy shit. Okay, we're jumping up too many things.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I mean, overall, the Bellator thing is like I like to see how much talent is popping off from there. I really feel like it's like, here's my biggest thing, and I mean, this is like crazy too, and you guys will probably let me know how you feel about this, but you have somebody that's homegrown from Bellator who is why did I just randomly forget his name? Because he's made the jump from Bellator to world champion in the UFC, and now he's in one FC.
Eddie Alvarez?
Eddie
Oh
Alvarez.
yeah, Eddie Alvarez.
The Underground King?
Dude, I love Eddie Alvarez.
Yeah.
I think that fight where he beat Dos Anjos, that was one of my favorite fights of that year.
Yeah.
It was insane. And then that's why Joey Diaz comes out. He's like, that's why I love this guy. He has heart. Like, it's like, dude, he's a great fighter. And that's why, like, ONE FC, I mean, it's crazy to see Eddie Alvarez go over there and lose, get knocked out.
Well, if you watch Demetrius Johnson fight, that
He
Asian
barely
guy,
made it.
and that guy doesn't have a Wikipedia page. I was trying to. He doesn't have a page.
Really?
Yeah, exactly. It's they're building up.
What's his name? Nasty Yukin? Or some shit?
Oh,
like that?
that's
Yeah.
pretty fun.
Dude, that's a pretty cool
That's a pretty cool name.
Yeah.
That's
not his name.
That's not his name?
No,
What's his name?
It is now for us.
Yeah, you'll make it now. Hey, you called it right here, Dave. You just made the nickname.
Hey, I'd call royalties on that. I'm starting right now.
Nasty Yukin.
If he makes a shirt, he owes you money.
Trademark.
I don't know. ONE FC, and that's another thing. It's like ONE FC is like it's proving to produce some pretty dynamic fights, but I feel like it's just like goes under the radar.
What is ONE FC?
ONE
exactly?
FC is essentially like the Bellator of the Asian market. I mean, you have any from Malaysia to all the way through China.
So like Bloodsport, where the one dude is just straight roided up.
They have a lot more regulations there. I feel like the creator of ONE FC and the essentially the Dana White, the CEO, he really like loves like martial arts as a craft. So like he loves like martial artists and thinks that they should all be pit against each other. But he also believes in the safety of the fighters, which is why he's doing the hydration test for that. I think everyone really likes that shit over there.
Hell yeah.
I think the one thing that I think I'm weirded out by, and maybe the next subject is like Sage Northcutt.
Yeah, I was gonna say they set his ass up, man.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
So they fight in either a ring or a boxing ring, which is a square. So it's like, it seems kind of weird that they choose when that happens and when that doesn't.
Well, don't they also have events that is just kickboxing and then some that's MMA and they transition back and forth?
And Muay Thai. They go in and out of all three.
Yeah, so I think that's why they had it. They probably had a boxing fight because I was like, I don't know if they set him up. I think.
I mean, also, why the fuck would he take that fight, man?
Yeah, but that's the other thing. It's
he fought like, just to put it in perspective for you, he fought 10-time Muay Thai champion. Like I think 10-time like champion.
Oh,
like
really?
the guy who he fought was not like this
Cosmo or something.
Yeah,
like
Cosmo Alexander.
Alexander. That guy has vicious knockouts.
He's like a champion in some other division.
Yeah, he's in the two other divisions, 2 other leagues or Muay Thai divisions, and they put him in a ring with essentially like a 20-year-old.
They just let him do all the steroids that he wants.
Yeah,
and he probably
no weight cut.
I want to do all the steroids. So I don't know. You probably didn't give him the respect or something. I don't know.
I think also it's like another thing is like Sage Northcutt wasn't even battle tested in the UFC.
That's true. They were really
Mickey
babying his
Mickey
career.
Gall rocked his ass and dropped him to the ground. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I hate him. I hate how good he looks. I hate all the women he's stolen from me. I don't know.
This is bullshit.
This is bullshit. I mean, he was in all the commercials for the UFC, and I thought that was ridiculous. They're like, you just have this kid in here because he like looks like an Abercrombie and Fitch model, and he like, but
he makes us money.
He money boy. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of really weird. I mean, in this same month, and we'll lead off with this. I think we'll take a pause because I need to go to the bathroom. But we're going to move on to this 2 UFC pay-per-views in 1 month. What do you guys think about the next UFC pay-per-view?
Okay, so coming back, Jose, bringing us back from where we left off, what subject are we moving on to?
So let's end it on the next UFC 240. Or 240, yeah, because this is 239 coming up.
240, so...
240, so bring up that card real quick. Because...
The 241? Or okay.
Yeah, so
not 241, 240.
240.
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
240. Well, that August card is pretty fucking dope. I mean, we can talk about that on the way out because that's still gonna be dope. I think this one is like.
Isn't there one on ESPN before that though? There's a couple mentioned. Oh, okay, go ahead.
Ooh. So what are we looking
at? Click Fight Night 57. Just click that roll. Oh wait, no, never mind. I'm sorry. I thought you were
right here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that one. So everyone's like saying that Dana White's gonna have some things he's gonna try to sneak in here like last. So I think he might try to redo that Shane O'Malley thing. But I mean,
I can't see. I'll just pull it up right here. Go ahead.
Oh, tell which one you want to see.
So no, just leave it there.
Give me the weight classes.
So Max Holloway versus Frankie Edgar. I think that's going to be a great fight. I mean, that obviously hasn't unfolded. Everyone's tired of Max Holloway fighting Jose Aldo. But I mean, Frankie Edgar versus Max Holloway. Well, I mean, some quick takes on that.
Yeah, this is a really good fight. Yeah, this is like the old guard versus the new guard. Mm-hmm. I like Frankie Edgar as a fighter. I'm a huge fan. Max Holloway really showed a different level in that Brian Ortega fight, the way he picked him apart on the feet. Mm-hmm. Frankie Edgar, he's got really good striking, but his striking is different. He moves in and out. He's on the feet a lot. It's going to be very weird. And Max Holloway has got some of the best footwork in the game. So
Frankie Edgar jumps back and forth so much.
I know. He jumps on, just moving in and out. Whereas Max Holloway's always cutting corners, jab, switches stance, hook, switches back, and then he ends up with something else, So
what do you think was the reason with him and Dustin Poirier? What do you think the contributors of that was, him losing?
That's a good question.
Yeah, the two main reasons I think is Justin Poirier has been in that weight division longer. He's let his body grow and acclimate to that weight division much longer. And the other thing is he's also just a fucking badass, too. That's like the two main things. I think if Max Holloway had been at lightweight for like 2 years and they fought, I think his powers would have popped, would have carried more pop to it, But
I mean, that's one of the reasons that I'm super stoked about Poirier fighting Khabib is because he is a really not. So everyone always wants to see Tony beat Khabib. Like everyone wants to see them fight, not beat him, but I mean fight him.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons they like Tony fighting Khabib is because he's so well rounded that wrestling Tony Ferguson to the floor doesn't technically mean he's like going to be in a really good position.
Yeah.
Because of how hard Tony Ferguson can submit someone. His jiu-jitsu is on another level. So Dustin Poirier,
Not to mention the cardio levels too.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that always his strength? Khabib's cardio. It's like this is the first. Tony Ferguson would be like one of the first guys. It's like, dude, he's right up there with him.
yeah, in 5th round, still fighting like the first.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like the one thing that I feel like I want to see is Poirier like take him into the 4th or 5th round and outstrike him in the way where it's like obviously Conor didn't do that. Obviously, LL Quinta got jabbed to death in the 5th round for some reason because he wanted to prove something to him. But it's like, dude, what are you doing?
Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
A fight.
What? Oh yeah, Khabib like I guess got really into boxing and he was like, "Watch me do this." And he was like, "Dude, what the hell?" And he punched him in the face and he's like, "You want more? You want another one? Another one?
Taste this.
Come taste a little bit of the good."
You know what? His boxing looked pretty good in the McGregor fight. You know, interestingly.
Oh,
enough.
that overhand.
That overhand right, and he hit him with a couple of good jabs too.
Yeah.
Like there was a point in time where it's like, holy shit, they're kickboxing.
Yeah.
These two guys are kickboxing in the 3rd round, and I don't know who's winning.
Yeah.
You know, so
I don't know. Pretty intense.
Yeah,
Who does Max Holloway fight after this? So that division is cleaned out for him. Really? It's like
if he wins, if Frankie wins, that division has new life in it because he's a new champion.
pull
Dude, if Frankie
pull
wins,
up the rankings for the
imagine if they
division.
did a Henry Cejudo and him fucking for a 3rd belt and shit.
Bro,
That would be fucking
huge.
badass.
And
Featherweight
I've
rankings.
got Cejudo maybe winning.
Yeah, his wrestling. I mean,
Dude, he's been
fuck, dude.
upsetting
there you
everybody.
go.
Seriously.
So the rankings right now for
Oh yeah, Volkanovski for sure.
Oh, shit, I
yeah,
forgot about that guy. It's a good thing we brought this
that
up.
guy,
Yeah.
Oh, you can click on all.
Technically, Volkanovski should have kind of had that
Yeah,
title
his
shot.
record's like 25 and
featherweight
1 or
right
something.
Yeah. And he's been calling out
Can you
Max
just hit
Holloway
it?
since forever.
And then how he looked against Chad Mendes, bro.
Oh, okay, never mind. Yeah. So
Fucking retired him.
Volkanovski number 1. See, it's Volkanovski. Okay, so
20 and 1,
Volkanovski. So
bro.
Volkanovski was the guy that went on Jim Dorn and Matt Serra, and they were talking about how like
Jimmy!
he said he was kind of like, why shouldn't I fight for the title? Like, why do you want to throw like Frankie Edgar out there? Like, you know, but it's like, come on, it's Frankie Edgar, dude. Those Maynard fights, those like, you know,
Yeah.
the guy's a champion.
Yeah. It's more like, like, it's like he earned, like,
You know, to be honest, I would rather see him fight, but I think the fight was made when Volkanovski had some type of infection on his foot.
Oh.
And they were like just trying to get us fight sign, and the Frankie answered the call. So
Yeah.
Gave him the club.
Brian
foot.
Ortega already fought. Yeah, Brian Ortega already fought Edgar and knocked him out viciously.
uppercut.
Frankie Edgar, if he were to fight, I mean, who knows if he's dude? Max Holloway is insanely good. So I kind of have Holloway on that fight, like winning, and then afterwards, you look at the top 3. He only has that Volkanovski fight left before you see Zabit trying to get his. You know,
yeah, it's another good fight.
and Zabit's a lanky ass motherfucker like him.
Yeah.
So that reach thing is starting to go away for him. But Volkanovski, not really.
I want to see Zabit and fucking Yair. And then between them two, I want to see.
Yeah, I want to see Yair
Whoever
come up and
wins.
try to get one of them gold bells.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
Cejudo's already our
really,
Mexican
I feel
dude in the
like
fucking
whoever
trenches.
wins, I feel like Zabit and Yair, they're like, that's between them two. It's like, okay, whoever wins that shit is the real contender after that. You know, aside from Volkanovski. Just 'cause
Imagine Volkanovski maybe versus the Korean Zombie.
oh shit.
Yeah.
That'd be a pretty good fight. The Korean Zombie, he's a little far off, but not too much. I don't
Wait,
think.
and why isn't Jeremy Stevens in these fucking rankings?
Who the fuck is that?
Yeah.
He's not consistent enough.
Really?
Yeah, unfortunately, he's one of those. If you look at his records, always like 2-1, 2-1, 3-1.
But I thought that would make him top 10. Isn't it?
I think it's because he just lost his Zabit.
Yeah, he just lost to Zabit, and Zabit took his spot.
Yeah.
Zabit took like number 9 and kicked them right off the top 10.
Man, welterweight is like insane. It's insane to see Kamaru Usman at welterweight. But I mean, after defeating fucking Tyron Woodley. Tyron Woodley's number 1? All right, cool. Jorge Masvidal. But
The only thing that concerns me with Max Holloway is like, okay, he beat Brian Ortega, but before that, he like missed. Remember, he like got cut from like 3 or 4 different. Like it was like 2 at least fights. Well, one of them was Khabib, was like last minute, but didn't he have like he was having like a stroke and some shit because of all the weight that he was cutting?
Damn, really?
So I was really concerned for him going into that Brian Ortega. I'm like, dude, he might just get knocked the fuck out because he's like in bad shape.
Yeah.
And then he did amazing. So I'm like, all right, never mind. It was just a fluke or whatever. and then he fought Dustin Poirier, and then he looked like bad. I mean, not that great.
I don't think he.
I thought
Honestly,
he looked slow, dude. He looked really slow for me.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's true. He looked faster at the other fighter compared to the other fighters, but I don't know because everybody's sort of saying like, yeah, he shouldn't fight a lightweight. Oh, this proves it. It's like
I don't know. I feel like he just had a
exactly. It's like I don't know. He fought one time at lightweight against probably the best guy or the second best guy. I don't know if he looks bad. I
feel like it was like Max Holloway's worst day, and it was Dustin Poirier's like best day. Like he was on his shit for that fight, and I feel like maybe Max Holloway went into that fight with a lot of shit.
Yeah, I just wouldn't judge and say like, oh, he shouldn't be a lightweight. I
don't think so.
You know, it sucks. That's why I do like sort of the way the ONE FC does it. I want to see true skill against skill when you're not dehydrated. See, you know,
and not get injured from like because your body can't recover.
Let's
that
look
kind
at
of
Max
pace.
Holloway versus the top 5 in the lightweight rankings. We have Justin Gaethje. How do you think Max Holloway would do against Justin Gaethje? I think that's a fight.
I would love to see Justin Gaethje fight Conor McGregor. To be honest,
I would see him fight Tony
I would like to
Ferguson.
see Cowboy still fight Conor McGregor. I don't even know
I
how
would
Conor
too,
McGregor
but-
is still in the top 3.
he's not. He's just more. He's got more Twitter followers than everybody, so
I
he's
want to see Tony Ferguson
automatically in the top 3.
I like Ella Quinta a lot, actually. After
I
that
love
Cowboy
L.A.
fight.
Quinta. Yeah, huge fan.
I like that Ella Quinta had to apologize to Khabib afterwards because like they got up from like the 3rd round, and Ella Quinta says like, when I'm fighting, I'm in fight mode, so don't try to be my friend. And Khabib like tried to walk past him. He's like, get the fuck out of my way. And then he said that to Khabib, and Khabib was like offended. But then afterwards he was like, hey, sorry man, but like, we're fighting. Like it's like, you're not my friend when you're in there. And it's true, but Ella Quinta is like a fucking badass. I love him. I love how Matt Serra boosts up his stock too.
Oh yeah, I love. When I became a fan of L.A. Quinta is when the fans started booing, and he's like, "You guys are booing me? Fuck you!" I was like, "Thank you."
Yeah, he's like, "Don't boo me."
Thank you. Finally, a UFC fighter, and he just went, and that was against Jorge Masvidal, by the way.
Yeah.
Very good fight, and that just
really
shows
close,
that just shows how good both of these guys are.
Yeah.
Very close. I thought Jorge should have won, but it's one of those. It's like. The only thing I've done is given it my all. I didn't pick or choose who won, and now you guys are booing me.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm glad he just said that. He's like, "Fuck you!" And then Joe Rogan tried to ask him something. He's like, "No, it's all." And he just like leaves. I was like, "I love this guy. Fan for life."
He was fucking I mean, that's the thing that honestly, that's the one thing where you obviously like you have God damn it, who's the heavyweight champion right now? Fucking DC.
Yeah.
DC, amazing fucking fighter. Deserves not to get booed at all, right? But the funniest thing about DC is that he's a commentator, so obviously he doesn't want to ruin his stock by telling the crowd to go fuck themselves. But I mean, DC should have told the crowd to go fuck themselves 100 times.
Oh, yeah.
But every time they boo him, he's like, gives a big old smile, just like, no, it's okay. Go someone.
Yeah, I want this shit.
But dude, he's a motherfucker, and DC should never get booed just because they people. I mean, the name of the game right now is who's winning and how.
I think the last one with Stipe won a lot of fans over. When he knocked him out, I was like, oh
yeah.
shit, what?
I didn't
Francis
really
Ngannou couldn't even do that shit.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
I did not expect him to clinch like that and throw in pocket like that and create that much power. But people always say that it's the weight cut that makes DC not that guy at light heavyweight.
That's why it'd be very interesting him versus Jones.
John Jones.
Heavyweight.
And that's
Very
why John Jones is like, he's trying to play that, like, I don't give a fuck card, but it's like, dude, you don't want to fight him at heavyweight, man.
And actually, you know what? Jones is in such a good position that it's funny that DC is actually going out of his way, losing so much weight to fight him at 205, but he would look like a bitch if he's like, well, I lost to you twice at 205.
Yeah.
How about heavyweight?
And
It
he's
sounds
like,
like
I wanna
he's
do it at
changing.
like-
It sounds like he's changing the rules in order to win. But in reality, look, none of you can wait. You don't can wait. You don't can wait, and just fight. But
Yeah.
John Jones doesn't want to do that, so he's really the one, and he's got
Exactly,
You know, he's very smart. The
And
way
he
he's
turns
he's
it.
making
He's saying
DC
like,
look like
oh,
a bitch.
DC's a little bitch. He
He's
doesn't wanna fight
making
me
DC
here
look
again.
like a bitch.
Yeah.
Too. So
when really all DC has to say is like, hey, if you want to get some of this champ life, come fucking find me. Because the thing is, like, John Jones, greatest of all time. A lot of people put him in the pound for pound best of all time. Not a champ. I'm sorry.
I mean, he has that opportunity. If he beats Stipe again, he can definitely call him out.
But then again, that sort of asks the question, is Conor McGregor a better champion because he's a champ more than John Jones, who's defended it 10 times? I think John Jones is a better champion, even though champ kind of did become a marketing thing. I don't know. It really depends. It's
Because
like
they don't defend.
I think the only thing that really creates for the UFC, especially now with the problem they're having with Conor McGregor not being able to fight at a main card because it wouldn't be for a championship. You know what I mean? It creates like all these weird scenarios. The champ thing just creates interim belts because no one can fight that many times a year.
In reality, I feel like a reigning champ in one single division is way better because everybody's always preparing for you since the beginning.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Whereas if you're doing champ, you're jumping into a new division, people don't have enough time to like fucking prepare for you.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're a reigning champ, like everybody knows John Jones is the guy that you have to prepare for at the end. That's the last boss and shit. Yeah.
He's the final boss.
Exactly.
Yeah, it really depends. You really see if you just have to be educated on it because if Jose Aldo, for example, he could be considered a champ because he beat Frankie Edgar. Yeah. And before he fought Frankie Edgar, he wanted to move up weight classes, but Dana White said, you're going to have to give up your belt before we even schedule it. He didn't do that with Conor McGregor. So technically, Jose should be a champ, but he doesn't have that, so people think he's not as good. But you just have to be educated who's fighting.
And even Max Holloway is like, he beat him twice, and he's still like, dude, that guy's still like the greatest of all time in this division. He's like, he's the greatest because he defended it for so long. Everybody was prepared for him.
The fighting the win streak he had was insane. I mean, fucking only rivaled by Tony Ferguson at that point.
Yeah, he's literally him. I guess he was the only champion in his weight class until McGregor knocked him out, and he had been champion for 5 years. Yeah. So, yeah, but
there's some hard fucking knocks on that shit for sure. I mean, let's kind of finish it off with this last thing. I mean, talking about DC a little bit. I mean, that fucking August card is stacked at this point. It's got DC versus Stipe. It has Nate Diaz.
Dude, that's the one that I really want to see, man.
They're marketing that so fucking hard, and they should. I mean, it's a fucking world class.
Whoever wins that needs. If Jorge Masvidal wins,
you bring up that card.
Please, if Jorge Masvidal wins, I want him to see. I want to see him
241. Yeah,
fucking fight whoever wins that one. Even though he just did like a grappling contest with Pettis,
and lost.
It was a tie.
Oh, really?
And he even talked about you should see Full Reptile. It's the channel that Diane Hardy has, where he interviews Jorge Masvidal, and they talk for like an hour in the gym. It's badass, and he talks about that shit. And he's like, "Yeah, we made an agreement, like no leg locks, none of this shit. We both have fights coming up. It's for charity." He's like, "Let's just have fun." Cool. Yeah, he's like, let's have fun. Let's not go crazy.
So that card is stacking, dude. That is a sick card, dude. You got.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Okay, let's just run through this real quick. Daniel Cormier versus Stipe Miocic. That's an even closer fight now.
In the heavyweight division, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a closer fight than the first time. I had DC winning the first time, and I thought he could finish, even though I'm a huge Stipe fan, but I rewatched it. Stipe was winning like the first 3 minutes, and then there was like about a minute where they got into a clinch or something, and then Daniel started walking him down, and at that point it was over. When he starts walking guys down, he just starts boom, 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 just throwing shit short and fat, just walking towards you and throwing shit.
And he has some body to him. It's like you're not.
Hell yeah.
The guy is fucking stocky
fucking
as fuck.
Badass.
Yeah, dude.
Plants his feet down and shit. Yeah.
And also another thing that I fucking love, and let this be known, a lot of people only remember the toss that he did to Henderson.
What about the one that he did to
when he fucking plugged him over and just chucked him on the floor? Where it was like, Jesus Christ, he just manhandled him. But he did that to John Jones too. The only
Gustafsson.
And Gustafsson.
And fucking what's his name?
Rumble?
No, the guy he used to be former champion.
The babyface assassin.
Yeah, what's his name? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
The War Master.
We're just saying all nicknames now.
I know exactly. Look it up. Josh, isn't it?
Barnett.
Josh Barnett.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Josh Barnett. He did that thing. He flipped him over his head, and that guy's like 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah. Oh yeah. Wait. Yeah, I do remember that because
that was like the first time that was slammed somebody. Like, God damn.
Joe Rogan pointed that out, that there was always like, this is a man who was like feet underneath. He was just short and stocky, and just like put his body into him, and it was like, like it's like this is like, that is true wrestling. That's the wrestling that people took and then created WWE with, because that's what people like to see. So like. Daniel Cormier is like not to be ignored at all with that, and I want him to do something more like that. I don't know. That's just a great fight, and I feel like Stipe is a fucking G for losing that fight and saying the next fight I'm going to have is for the title again as a reigning heavyweight champ.
Held out for a long time.
He held out forever.
They fucked him over.
They fucked him over big time, man.
And they fucked him over with the Ngannou fight, trying to get him to lose, stack it up. Ngannou was not ready for the title.
I love that scene where he takes the belt from Dana, gives it to his coach, and is like, "You put the belt on me because fucking Dana doesn't deserve it."
I know, it's
so badass.
Yeah, it's.
But DC has the opportunity here. If he wins the second one, he has like the opportunity to take that John Jones fight back and call him out.
If he
come
wins,
up to heavyweight, bitch.
If he wins, he does something outside of John Jones. Well, he already did by winning, but if he beats him again, it's kind of like the John Jones things. He does have 2 losses, but I think people will recognize he's the better. Or
yeah, like he could retire, but he could also like, you know what?
He hinted at retirement
Come on
a
up.
bunch.
Yeah, but
It's probably be a big ass money fight.
this
too.
is going to be a great card. Diaz versus Pettis. I mean, Diaz does not get knocked out in the welterweight division.
At 172, that's like another thing. Is like now these guys are really fucking hankering in because Anthony Pettis has fought at 155 for forever and is a 155 champion.
In the
right?
first fight back, he knocks out fucking Steve.
that's the other thing, dude.
Stephen Thompson.
That was
Dude,
beautiful.
shit.
If you would have told me like who's more likely to get knocked out, Stephen Thompson or Nate Diaz, it'd be hard to pick because neither of them, after seeing Wonderboy get dropped by Woodley and still gut
And
it
Nate
out,
Diaz
I was
got
like, I don't
dropped,
think anybody can finish him. And Pettis moving up, a guy who fought at 145, knocking his ass out.
Yeah, what a champion Thompson is too. Like fucking getting up and congratulating him, not knowing where the fuck he is, and then saying that he only came to realization of like, oh wait, did I just get knocked out?
Yeah.
And then we're like, you're in the room, like you're in the room.
You
You're
see
like,
the hospital videos?
Yeah.
Every time he's like, oh man, knockout, really?
dude, he's in the hospital like hours away from his knockout, and he's like, wait, I got knocked out, and he was like, dude, you were in another dimension, dude. Like you got knocked out.
He sent you to the fucking shadow realm, bro.
What was it in Get Out? Or the dark place, sunken place or something?
Yeah, dude. I think that was super funny, but it was also super funny to see like Stephen Thompson's just a world class guy. I really feel like
I'd love Stephen Thompson. He'd be a champion if Tyron Woodley wasn't around for those years. He would be the number 1 champion.
and also if fucking stupid Till didn't fucking wreck his leg. But
who do you think had the worst knockout loss? Stephen Thompson or Darren Till?
Darren Till for sure.
Because they were both bad. I don't know. They both.
No, because he was out on the way out, and then he still hit him with another one.
But Thompson was like this after the fight. He was just like, he was just
Stephen
like
Thompson got
dude,
knocked
Darren
out?
Till, when it comes to like who came back faster, Darren Till took forever to come back.
Yeah.
Because I was watching it live, and they would not cut to him until like way after and he's up
until they realized he was alive.
Shit,
Dude,
yeah.
Like, okay,
that's the one where I showed it to Kevin, and I was like, Kevin, when he switches stance and he goes, "Ruka," and he like fucking hits him with it, right? His eyes have rolled back into his skull while he's falling backwards. Like I was like, telling them, I was like, dude, that's when like, if I'm falling backwards like that, I'm seeing my life just go.
And like,
It's just like, because that was that hard, and that like, you know how devastating that was to Darren Till losing in his home country. That's a second loss,
bro.
Dude, it was tough, man. And that was when I
hyped
like,
him up too quickly.
oh yeah, and then Masvidal going like this.
I don't know, because if he would,
I know. I love that. He's like, "What's up, motherfucker?"
Yeah.
He's like,
yeah.
it's hilarious.
But I mean, if you remember when he dropped him in the first exchange after the nut shot.
Oh yeah.
If you would have finished him there, everybody would be like, "Oh, Darren Till's back. He's ready for another title shot." You know?
Yeah,
it would have annoyed me.
Me too.
I showed that to Kevin too. I was like,
just came running
shout
in
out to Masvidal for the fastest nut shot of all time.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
He just ran in there. I'm a fucking nuts, dude.
What's funny is it didn't even look like he tried to hit anything, except that he's like,
He might have done that shit on purpose,
you know.
It's funny.
It was funny.
This podcast, everyone just see it as like a pivot or like, but no one can
That was
see
a
our
leg
like,
kick, yeah.
but everyone's like,
If you would have seen it, you would have thought it was cool. Guaranteed.
No, even it reminds me when he like was on the Ariel Helwani show and he was like saying, he's like, "Hey man, in the streets, all you need is a sucker punch and a fast 40-yard dash. That's all you need in a street fight."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh shit."
I have Nate Diaz winning that one. I know ring rust is a motherfucker.
Yeah, I think that's.
But the Nate Diaz fucking mentality versus Anthony Pettis, right? Who has also a pretty fucking hardcore, like, I'm going to rough it out for 5 rounds. The guy's battle tested. I think we're looking at like a full, it's not going to be a 5-rounder, but a full 3 rounds of mayhem.
Honestly, in that fight, it's like I don't even want to take a side. I don't even want to pick. I just want to sit down and fucking enjoy it.
Yeah,
It's gonna be a
same
fucking
here.
War.
And exactly. I just want to enjoy it.
As a fan, like, holy shit, you don't get fights like this.
And if you were to tell me,
banger. We might have to host that one here again. Dude.
Yeah, dude,
That fucking bang.
and whoever you pick, if you were to pick Pettis or you were to pick Diaz, I'm like, okay, interesting,
right?
maybe.
Yeah.
Let me hear what you have to say, because either one of those guys can win. Yeah, this is a good fight.
Damn, it's gonna be a bad
and then,
fight.
dude, backed up this card. Romero versus Paulo Costa. And then, dude, Paulo Costa, this is like,
You not forget Jesus, my friend.
dude, you put the Greek gods to fight here. Like, you put, this is God versus God. Like,
In the middleweight division.
let me just point out here that
Go to images under Paulo Costa, bro.
Look him up, Kevin.
Look,
Just
dude,
type in Paulo Costa
put Paulo
under
Costa
images.
cucking dudes because he
That's
like
definitely a thing.
dude, I wish. The thing is, like, Paulo Costa, dude, look at him. It's insane.
Oh,
That's not even a good picture either.
Dude, look at this images. Just click the images thing.
Wait, oh yeah,
He's got
Paulo,
muscles
not
on his
Paulo.
muscles, bro.
Dude, this dude is
This dude is fucking
God.
He's
straight
from
red.
Baki.
And look, now click Yoel.
He's
Now
got
click
the
Yoel, bro.
he's got the dick crease and everything.
All right, who's got the better body? Exactly.
Damn.
Wait, there's some other Paulo Costa. Look, check out this
I
one.
think Yoel Romero wins the what's it called? The shoulder muscle right here?
Yeah.
Dude.
Traps?
Who do
He's
you
got
think
better traps,
dude,
but
who do you think has the biggest diesel?
Paulo Costa, Paulo Costa.
Dude,
I can't even talk. I'm looking at his dick so much.
Dude, I think Yo Romero has the biggest diesel for sure.
Who's got the biggest cup size? Come on.
Yoel got that Cuban dick, my friend.
Dude, I don't really feel like, okay, here's the thing. What happens after that? Obviously, whoever wins between Adesanya
Yes,
versus
happened.
Whitaker.
It's all over. Oh,
What is going on?
Jesus.
Oh, no, you're fine.
Okay.
That was cool. So
Yeah,
you
I
put
did-
2 mirrors up against each other.
If Adesanya wins, right? I don't think Adesanya could fucking. I would really, before he tries to do any of this dumbass
Shit,
champ
bro.
shit,
He's got, like-
I think Adesanya versus Paulo Costa would be fucking phenomenal.
Yes.
And then even if you switch it up, I don't even care. Put fucking even though
Yoel?
people keep on saying to Yoel, you need to go up in weight class, right? They keep on telling him because he keeps on dropping, he keeps on missing weight.
I actually like that he's like, fuck it, no, just lose 10 grand. I don't give a shit. Yeah, I like that.
But
He's
he can't
like, I
win the
just made
title.
36 million, baby
Who
boy.
cares if you don't win the
I
title?
made that
Yeah, that's the other
money.
thing. He's coming at it from a whole different Cuban mentality. He doesn't even like. I almost feel
The guy
like.
just won a shit ton of money through that fucking.
Oh yeah, that's the other
That's what I was
thing,
gonna say.
bro. That's
He doesn't need money. He needs
Yeah.
a title to cement his legacy.
Dude.
He needs.
he would be the first Cuban UFC fighter, which would be badass. But I don't know. I think he just like he's like, I'm getting paid all this money. I'm winning. I'm doing like whatever.
He went on a fucking game show.
fun, my friend.
He went on a Mexican
normal.
game show that was like a fucking it's a Mexican game show where like they do all these obstacles. It's like the greatest race or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
He did that shit. He didn't need to fucking do that shit.
That was
I just-
Jorge Masvidal, no?
No, both of them did that shit.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was only Jorge.
That's funny.
So what's super
gotta
funny,
see
and I
this
have
show,
to fucking
man. What the
point
fuck?
out, is that
Missing
Yoel
out.
Romero needs to either he needs to fight this fight up at middleweight, earn another title shot against I mean, no one wants. People would see Robert Whitaker versus him 3. People would. I would pay for it. It was
I would
a
pay
great
for it
fight every single time.
If Robert has like a badass fight against Israel and maybe Yoel knocks the shit out of Paulo, yes, they probably
Yeah.
would.
If he knocks the shit out of Paulo, he's undeniable.
yeah.
You know, like you can't take that shit away.
And that's the thing is like I don't think Paulo Costa has ever fought anybody in the tier that Yoel Romero is in. He's gonna fight a savage, right?
Yeah.
And then afterwards, Paulo Costa.
I mean, if you think about it, he's beaten every single one of those previous champions. He's knocked them the fuck out.
I think he would have
Chris
knocked out.
Weidman, flying knee. Luke Rockhold, uppercut from hell.
yeah,
Remember that shit?
Luke Rockhold literally got kissed by a man.
And then he kissed him
And then he
like
was like,
Judas.
he kissed him back. He was like, yo, dude, I'm so fucked up. I don't even know what's going on here. Like, you knocked me the fuck out. Then I don't know what's going on. Then you
shit.
kiss me on the cheek, and then I kiss you back. Oh, yeah, dude.
Did he kiss him back?
I think he went like this. He was like, oh, no.
Is this your fantasy? Or is
No,
it-
I don't think it happened. I think I'm willing it into existence. But I do know that Luke Rockhold was like, get off me, bro. But I think it's like super disrespectful for him to go kiss whoever he knocked out. It's like, dude, leave
But
him
do you hear
alone.
the reason why?
That's good.
He was saying that because like Luke Rockhold used to be like cool with him and shit. And
Really?
then, like yeah, it was like he had like this whole interview where he said that he was like cool with them and this and that. We're not gonna fight each other. We're gonna try to I don't know some shit. And then he started talking mad.
Luke
stuff.
Rockhold. Also,
That's why he's like I kiss him like Judas.
dude, fucking the middleweight division.
Judas kiss,
Fuck,
baby.
yeah. I was
Isn't
like,
the middleweight division
damn.
also made up of just like models? Because Luke Rockhold did a bunch of modeling gigs.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking Paulo Costa looks like a model. Yo Romero looks like
Dillashaw?
a dude. Oh,
You know, he
But he's not a middleweight,
dated Demi Lovato.
Yeah.
Who?
Yep.
Luke
did?
Rockhold.
Dude,
really?
Yeah, he
That's
did.
fucking fucked up.
Yeah, right?
Yep.
He did.
Yeah, he did.
That's awesome.
I know.
I love her.
Yeah.
And then he broke up with her and was like, "Who's next?"
And then she went.
yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. She did do like a. Didn't she go through like
She
a
went to
rehab
and
afterwards?
shit. All right, this podcast is getting
We're discovering everything right now.
Unhinged, you spilling out all the tea. Bring out the tea.
They bring out the. What else is on here that you guys got? Derek Brunson's on this one, but he's like Derek Brunson's stock is completely.
The
down.
only thing that I want to say is just Weili Shang. I think she's gonna be the new champion, man.
Oh, that shit's gonna go up.
The Chinese,
Yeah.
the Chinaman woman.
Yeah.
China woman. Yeah. Dude, she is legit.
I remember I told you about
You
it.
showed me that
Yeah.
video, and afterwards I
And then
went
she
down the
fought-
rabbit hole on that
She
shit.
fought for Tisha Torres, and then she fucking dude. She took her to war.
He might as well. She might as well have just taken a gun in there because
And
that's
then-
what she did. She killed her.
After that one, I was like, dude, I want to see her fight Joanna Jędrzejczyk, and then they didn't do it. They fucking set her up for the title shot. I'm like, dude, we might have a new fucking champion. Who knows? This is gonna be a war,
That shit got
Dude,
me
they're
wild.
investing so much in the China market now too.
dude.
Yeah.
Oh, they opened up the new institute over there.
Yeah.
And Mexico and
And the UK.
Puerto
That's what they
Rico,
need to do. That's the smartest shit. Sink multi-million-dollar institutes. Sink your money into there and then challenge
Build it
athletes
and they will come.
Yeah. Challenge athletes from every country because I think they already did that with Mexico.
They will drag them kicking and screaming, and in the end, they will thank them for
They
it.
will thank them. It's gonna be amazing.
All right, appreciate it. The last one here.
I think we're gonna end it on this one. Let's say goodbye because we're in on this one. This is 3 hours at this point.
4th of July, America.
Yeah.
Let's go. 4th of
MAGA. Build that wall, make America great again. 4th of July. I love the tanks.
I love things.
USA. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
somebody
else?
challenge me on Thiago Santos. Somebody give me this rush. Somebody has to give me $5. Nah, Kevin, do it.
No
Kevin.
sirve.
No, si sirve, wait.
No sirve,
Si sirve, wait.
But yeah, so episode 14.
Yeah.
Episode 14 for the July special.
Combat Libre.
Combat Libre. And this SNP podcast. We'll see you guys next week.
One love.